What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. It is Friday, October 27th, 2023, year of our Lord. And I am excited to be before you today. It's a no fumble on a Fridays. Let me get a early mental health check. Let me see where y'all checking in from and what y'all mindset is. Going into this Friday, I think that it's going to be an explosive show. I do have a meeting that I have to prepare for in order to make sure that I have some deliverables delivered for corporate America. So I'm going to try to get through all of the different subjects that I'm getting through pretty swiftly so that I can hopefully open it up for you guys to be able to jump onto the live stream and ask whatever question or hold me accountable for anything that you've disagreed with me with about over the past week. So let me get a general idea of how you guys feeling inside of the chat. One word only. Tree says amazing. True to Self says loved. Lila says clear. Kojak is busy. Sly is grinding. Azriel is in Houston blessed. Happy Fortune Friday. Antonio is ready to work. Open-minded. Everybody is out here getting it. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to my bag chasers and my family. Watching from North Miami Beach. Shout out to Trap and Slay in the building. Tuning in every day. Healing. Solid. Son's getting married this week. Congratulations. Cars, motivated, blessed, great, cool, blessed to be alive, stable, sleepy, motivated, blessed, depleted. You just don't understand how much it warms my heart. That warms my heart, big homie. Wonderful, blissful, enlightened, optimistic, motivated, relaxed, great. Paid. I like paid. Hungry, driven, retired, blessed, steadfast. Chefing it up. Good morning, says Oren the Poet TV. Awesome, says Tech Coach Ralph. James O'Berry says blessed from Orlando. Winnovation is always betting, as usual. Invested, dauntless, paid, working. And shout out to Sly Training from Azriel. Awesome, fresh as F, inspired from Brooklyn, confused. Don't worry about it. We're going to unconfuse you today. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and get started. Shout out to KK, said they got their eyes wide open. Carlos says wonderful. Mary says stellar. Enthused. All right. So listen, this is how it's going to go today. I'm going to shout out to J Dubs. I'm going to have to read that super chat shortly. I am going to open up the live stream only Only at the end of the show, and I'm going to try to get through these subjects pretty quickly so that I can keep my time the way I need to keep my time. Shout out to Travis Slade, says, I'm learning so much. You truly inspire me. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, Travis Slade. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to open up the chat only for the people that disagree with me. So if you disagree with me about anything that I've talked about over this past week, whether it was relationship-based or financial or how you think that I should move, or you just want to hold me accountable, only for disagreements. Do not try to come up here and try to get a free coaching call. That is not what this is. This is for, and I specifically highlight, Fridays for people that disagree with me. So if you've been holding something in all week and you want to quickly get your rocks off, you're going to have an opportunity to do so. Free smoke show on Fridays, all right? That's going to open up towards the end of the show. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, make sure you get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We rocking out on that front. And it's a good morning, I think. I think it's going to be a good weekend. I got home opener for the Pistons. I'll be at the game courtside. We're going to get it popping. We was cooking up on the live streams all week. And so it's a good day. Shout out to Angel. Says, yes, please. KS Vibes. Keep it up. Brandy said, good morning. What up? All right, so let me read a few of the super chats and then we're going to get it popping. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Mike, that dude. Always holding me down on Cash App. You are absolutely positively appreciated. And then let me give a round of applause for J Dubs is in the building. Shout out to J Dubs. I appreciate you. Says there's no amount for the value you've added to me. God bless you. God bless you too, J Dubs. And I appreciate you for the 125 ball. I don't ask for cash apps or super chats, but I have to make sure that I acknowledge everybody that support the platform because it is appreciated no matter how much you give. And you guys are awesome. Flat out. You just awesome. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I cannot express how much you guys pour into me as I try to pour into you. And we just add value into each other's lives. So thank you, J Dubs. I am absolutely ecstatic to be having this conversation and standing before you today to be able to add value into your lives, hopefully. So again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also on top of that, Teach Hanley, and then we're going to get it started. Hit a like for the algorithm if you haven't already. Shout out to my people on Facebook, and then shout out to my people on YouTube. All right, y'all ready to get started? Because we got to get this show popping. I'm going to read super chats throughout the show. One thing that people always ask me, and this is a debate that I have on a regular basis, and if you disagree with me, you can feel free to be able to come up on the show. You do not have to cam up. You can cam up if you want to. It's up to you. A lot of people always try to take me to task about the idea of credit, the gamification of credit in order to build wealth. I see all of these Instagram experts that talk about using other people's money in order to get rich, and I absolutely, positively, 100% disagree with it. I want to stake my claim, draw my line in the sand, and it may work for you, but this is not the thing that I'm advocating for my people. And it all stems from a foundation in that you are to owe no man nothing, and I owe no man, not one person on the face of this earth, nothing. And people continue to try to share with you. And I was watching a video yesterday of a content creator that dropped a video, and he was talking about how he leveraged other people's money to get rich and how he's still doing it and all of this stuff. I don't believe in that. I honestly don't believe in it. Can banks be a tool? Absolutely, 100%. Can credit be a tool? Undeniably, 100%. But the thing that I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that the goal is to be 100% owned and operated and profitable and not to have anybody in your pockets. No one. I can't even understand for the life of me how people that have money and resources, and I'm not talking about as a corporate entity, I'm not talking about Apple holding on to debt because money is cheap, because there's a way to hack that, right? It's a completely different conversation when you're talking about it on a larger scale as a corporation and how it is that they leverage debt in order to continue to remain or service or make money. That's completely different than you on an individual level. We're talking about on an individual level. My goal in life and my standard for how I live my life has always been by 40 years old, I don't want any debt and I don't want a bank in my pocket. I don't want any debt and I don't want a bank in my pocket. If I only owned one property, but it was mortgage free, I would be happier than owning 20 properties that had a mortgage on it and I was depending on people in order to pay off the mortgage. Now, a lot of people would ask me and they would say, well, Anton, why is that? Because if you can leverage other people's money, including the bank, and when I say other people's money, I'm talking about the bank. If you can leverage other people's money in order to continue to build wealth, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you leverage the bank? Why would I give money over to the bank? And this is my initial thought. And then I'm going to mine this out a little bit for y'all so that y'all can understand where I'm coming from. Why would I give money over into the bank in the form of interest just to be able to say that I'm in the real estate game? The goal, for me, is to maximize profits. So the faster that I pay off the mortgage, the more money I can keep inside of my pocket, because then the only thing that I have to pay is property taxes, insurance, and then whatever the cost is in order to maintain the property. I want 100% of the profits. The minute that I figure out how I can use these platforms as a funnel and keep 100% of the profits and not have to split it with whatever platform that I'm streaming on, I will do it. If I can figure out how to cut out the middleman, the goal is always to cut out the middleman. Whether you in the dope game, the real estate game, the whole game, the goal is to cut out the middleman. I don't need hard money loans in order to finance my stuff because I've lowered my lifestyle enough to be able to do it myself. I don't need any investors in my businesses. The goal was to always be able to be 100% of myself. When you see a poker player and they say, hey, I'm selling 50% of myself, I'm selling 25% of myself, I'm selling 75% of myself, they're using other people's money in order to stake themselves in tournaments or in cash money games in order for them to be able to continue to play. They're leveraging other people's money and they're selling their talent in order to do so. But if I can own 100% of if I'm that good and I can own 100% of myself, why wouldn't I? Well, one of the reasons is that they're mitigating risk. Another reason that people then do that in real estate is because they think that they can grow faster. But here's the problem with that, is that when people are telling you, when they're having these conversations about real estate, the one thing that they're not explaining to you is that when the risk gets larger, right, meaning that the economy goes up and down, and since the beginning of history, it's always been up and down. What happens when the economy crashes and the bank calls in a loan and you don't have the money to be able to pay it? What happens if the economy crashes and then multiple different renters, such as what happened during the pandemic, can't pay their rent? One of the things that I've always been able to do since I've gotten into the real estate game is mitigate risk. You know why? Because I don't have the same overhead and expenses. Because no matter what, the bank want their money. Regardless of how many people was a part of the moratorium, the bank wanted their money. So a lot of homeowners would then, because let's be clear, most of the people that's renting out their properties on an individual level, They don't have a whole lot of properties. They're not institutional investors. There's plenty of different ways in which you can make money in real estate. Some people wholesale, in which they don't own any property, but they're basically making money being the middleman between the buyer and the seller in order to convince the seller to sell a property at a specific price by cold calling or doing whatever it is that they need to do. And then they then give the deal over into the buyer, right? The wholesalers don't own real estate. The wholesalers is making money being the middleman, okay? Flippers, on the flip side, which is the thing that Flippin' NJ, Caesar Pena, and then Envy was a part of, are people that go in, speculate. A lot of times they go into lower income properties, or they have to speculate based off of what they can hopefully sell the property for, then have the banks inside of their pockets. So what they do is they have hard money lenders lend them money in order for them to continue to redevelop the property and hopefully sell it at a profit exponentially more than whatever it is that it took for them to develop it and buy the property, right? Meaning that they're leveraging the hard money lender's money in order to get into the business. This is why when Envy and all of them, and they would do these seminars, they would say, yeah, we got hard money lenders there and all of that. Well, a hard money lender is going to charge you an egregious amount. I know y'all love that word, an egregious amount of interest. So they're up against a timeline, because the quicker that they can have to get that property back to the market and hopefully get it sold, the more time or how much longer and every month that they carry over that property, it eats into the profitability of it. So either they have to adjust for the market price and sell it for a higher price, or they have to take a lower end of it. And a lot of flippers lose their shirt because either they don't know what they're doing, or it takes one or two bad deals to completely crash them. And so now what you see from a person like Caesar, he may have had good intentions and not necessarily was trying to run what they're calling a Ponzi scheme. But what's really happening is that they speculated and they were leveraging other people's money in order to get into these businesses, probably so that they didn't have to do as many hard money loans. And then when they said that they was worth a certain amount of money, it was based off of what they were projecting to do and not necessarily what they had in their pockets. So when we talk about money, and the goal ultimately for me personally is to own each individual property and then snowball it. If you are a part of the Patreon and you looked at the video that I have that's basically called reverse snowballing, and what that method is, I break it down. I break down my mentality in that. Make sure you go and check out that video in addition to the interviews, in addition to the interview Lucky King and all of the mastermind sessions and everything that's inside of the Patreon. And I plan on doing a live stream on Sunday. But my point is, I'm basically doing the reverse of what it is that you're doing as far as how it is that you're trying to leverage your resources in order to get into, let's say, the stock market, or what your 401k does, or what your Roth IRA does. Or if you have the money and the resources, then what you do is you become the bank. I don't want to participate with the bank. I want to become the bank. The goal is to be the person that owns, leverages, and finances everything myself. The only reason I ever want to be participating in the banking system is to be able to transfer money back and forth and making it easier for me to be able to get my money here and then move it there. I don't need the bank for anything. I don't need the bank for nothing. I don't want to pay the bank one dime of interest. I don't want to pay credit card interest. I don't want to pay mortgage interest. I don't want to pay car interest. I don't want to pay anything, because the more money that I have in my pocket, the more I can deploy into my own resources. And that is what real wealth looks like. See, what we've done is we've remixed what the word of God has told us to do, and it's to be fruitful, multiply, and owe no man nothing. So you may have been in a system, or you may have been programmed to think, oh, okay, well, I can leverage the bank or low interest or money or whatever. Dog, that's just the gamification in order to keep you broke, because most people leverage credit the wrong way. They leveraging it the wrong way. The goal is to get to a point to where you become the bank, not you become interdependent on the bank. Don't you know that they market it to you? They're marketing it to you. They're marketing these interest rates to you. They're marketing 30-year mortgages. They're marketing 15-year mortgages. They're marketing all of these things because it's an opportunity for them to make more money from you. When I am the bank, I control the time. I don't have the pressures that people that have hard money loans have. I don't have to worry about cutting corners. I can take my time. I can go through the approval process. I can make sure that all of my contractors is doing what they're supposed to do. Everybody gets paid on time. Everybody is having a good time. Y'all know that I'm building these properties, and I got multiple different properties now going up all at the same time. But the main one that's the furthest along, and I've shared that with you guys inside of the Patreon. I'll give you an update on Sunday. We just poured not only the foundation, but we poured the basement walls, and so now they're basically putting the dirt back, and they're building and setting the foundation for the garage, and now everything is starting to go up. And so it's a process, right? And because, it's our first time working with the people from these poured walls. And so thank God for all of my connections and my architect and my general contractors. They're absolutely awesome. And it's funny because when we poured it and we had things taken care of, they then, sent me a bill, and the bill was $28,000. And so Rita got on the phone with him, and she was like, okay, where you want us to wire it to or whatever, so on and so forth, or do you want us to just pay it like this or whatever? And it was like, oh no, just call the bank and have them issue out the payment. And because it's our first time doing this, building a home from scratch, she was like, what you mean? Oh, no. And this is what the lady was saying. Just call the bank and have them issue out the payment. From the loans. Because really what happens is you get a construction loan, and then you combine it or whatever, and then once the house is finished being built, they basically convert it over because they give you a value of the property, and they convert it over into a mortgage, right? And so basically you're just going through a process that ultimately still has you in a 30-year mortgage, right? And so she was like, oh no, we don't have no bank loans. And the lady was listening to her and looking at her. And I was on the phone with Rita. I said, they don't have nobody that's cashing out? Everybody is financing? Is that the move? And so Rita was like, I guess so. So I had to wind up going over into the bank, getting a $28,000 cashier's check, mailing it to them physically, and then they just emailed me and said, they emailed me yesterday and said, we got the check. They don't believe me, so I got to pull out the receipts. They don't be believing me, so you got to pull out the receipts sometimes. They don't be believing me. So I got to pull out the receipts sometimes. Don't worry about it. This was yesterday, right? Here, I'll show you the invoice. Don't worry about it. Let me see if I can get the invoice up. Let me move this real quick. That was the invoice. So we sent the invoice and we paid it off 100%. And then we went from there, right? But here's my point. This is the thing that I'm trying to emphasize to you guys really quickly. This is the thing that I'm trying to emphasize to you guys. At some point, we have to stop being a part of the matrix and letting social media, marketing, banks, whatever it is that you have going on, we have to stop allowing for these people to continue to market to you debt in the form of wealth. That's not wealth. Credit is not the goal. I understand the use of credit. I understand that you can leverage it, but ultimately you want to mitigate risk. You want to become the bank. You want to become the bank. Now, interestingly enough, I'm not interested in flipping either. I will own this house for the rest of my life. I will own every single property that I have for the rest of my life. Ownership is what you want. You want to become the bank. You want to own yourself. And then you want to leverage your talents in order to generate the revenue that ultimately gets you more into becoming more of an owner of the assets that then appreciate over time. I don't worry about whether or not renters are going to be here or whatever, so on and so forth. And a lot of you are already familiar. I've explained it to you inside of the Patreon about how you vet a tenant effectively, and I can go over that again this weekend if you guys missed it. Wealth Building Journey says only use credit to accelerate ownership. I disagree with that. I don't think that you should use credit to accelerate ownership. If you're using credit, you're not accelerating ownership. You're just more in somebody else's pocket. You can't accelerate ownership because you still have a creditor. If you're saying use credit in order to expand the business or something like that, then there are use cases on an individual level in order to do so. All of y'all ran out and got these Navy credit, Navy federal credit, and all of this other type of stuff. For what? For what? What did you do it? Somebody said, Anton, there has to be something you're not telling us. How'd you get started? It sounds impossible, but clearly you do. What is impossible? I am a 41-year-old man. It took me 15, 20 years of grinding, hustling, learning the lessons, failing, building my own businesses, living in my parents' basement, living for free. Up and through, all the way through 2017, 18, 19, I basically lived for free because my father was the maintenance guy at the facility until he passed away in late 2017. And I've dedicated and I've thrown every single dime that I have into paying off, owning, investing, building my businesses, so on and so forth. There is no shortcut to success. There is no hack. It's not a hack. I still work I have like 12 streams of income right now. I still work a regular job. That's the hack. You stay down for 5, 10 years until you get there. Ain't nobody give me, listen, contrary to popular belief, I never, ever, and see, Trevor, you don't know shit. I'm sorry I cussed. Trevor Wilson don't know anything. He has no clue because he's not a bag chaser. He hasn't seen my receipts. He has no clue about what it is that I make on my W-2. He has no clue about what it is that I make on the web development company. He has no clue about my licensing deals. He has no clue about what it is that I generate on all of my different. He don't have no clue of what it is that I make in real estate. No clue whatsoever. But that's speculation. Never got an inheritance. Never got a lawsuit. Never got any of that. Never made no money from nothing. All of it came straight up from grinding, hustling, putting in the work, and running up a check. And every dime that I ever got, I've always put 90, 95% of everything that I made back into the business. I failed. I've had successes. For every one success, I've had 10, 15 failures, but the success is big. No lottery, no none of that. When people can't figure out how you not moving like them, but then you just do it straight up authentically with no, I ain't never, ever in my life, ever went to jail. I ain't never had an investor. I ain't never had none of that. Not one thing. Never. The goal is to become the bank. Do it slow. Slow money. Slow money is the wave. That's the move. Slow money is the wave. You ain't got to worry about nobody coming and accusing you of nothing. You ain't got to worry about no investors. You ain't got to worry about no creditors. You ain't got to worry about none of that. None of that. All you got to do, slow money. Lower your lifestyle. Educate yourself. Continue to leverage everything that you have from a financial perspective in order to invest in the things that you know of. Get a brokerage account instead of a regular bank account or a savings account. It's a process. It takes 40 years to be 40 years old. I held it down, drove regular cars. Had a Ford Focus. I was grinding it out. I was getting it. Hustling. Went broke. And you got to remember, I was getting money back when I was 18, 19 years old. When I was 20, before I could even drink, I was driving a Bentley. It's a fact, though. It's documented. Go and do your research. Before I ever went broke and I had to learn the lesson and suffer as a result of it, before I was 21 years old, I had the Bentleys. And then I realized, you know what? I was doing it wrong. I wound up going broke. I made the adjustment, went back to school, made sure that I didn't go into debt as a result of it, went to community college, continued to invest in myself, lived free for as long as I possibly could in order to allocate all of my resources into the things that I then invested in, had my businesses. One of them went off. Another one went off at the same time. Didn't use any of my salary in order to maintain my lifestyle, but allocated all of that money that I didn't have going into my 401k or my 403b back into my investments. Had my money sitting in a brokerage account, continuing to let that compound until I needed to draw money out or had access to it in order to reinvest in another property. It's not complicated. It's an endurance. It's endurance. Somebody said, Anton, how you get the money to have a Bentley? Bro, I was making $120,000 in a plant, working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week at Rouge Steel. Bro, you better check my history. 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, getting paid doubles. On holidays, it was triple time. I had work ethic. And then along the way, you continue to educate yourself. Listen, stop thinking as a community that somebody got a leg up on you. All you got to do is dedicate yourself. All you got to do is work hard. All you got to do is have an endurance mindset that allows for you to then want to build it slow, and then it'll start to snowball and it'll work for you. And then you can start to have your lifestyle take care of you, your lifestyle substantiated by the investments that you've made. The earlier that you start to do it, the quicker you'll get there, instead of trying to maintain a lifestyle in order to live according to what everybody else's standards is. And I don't have to worry about losing my properties because I own 100% of them. I don't have to worry about the bank calling in my mortgage because I own 100% of it. It's funny because I even remember, what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago, where people was laughing at me because I had a new job opportunity and I wanted to add that into my income. They laughed at me. He going to get another job. He must be going broke. I let them laugh at me, and I just continued to run it up. Bag chasers know. And then when my W-2 came out, I showed them what it is that I was making, and they was like, oh, wait a minute. And then I gave the bag chasers on Patreon the hack for them to be able to make an additional and leverage what it is that they do professionally in order to make another $500,000, $1 million a year. And the bag chasers was like, oh, wait a minute. Let me leverage that. Oh, Anton, he was living for free for the last 10 years. Millionaires don't live for free. Shh. We was running it up. We was comfortable. My daughter was happy. She didn't know no better. She didn't even know we had money. My daughter was super happy. She was nice in her room. We had a little 2-bedroom townhouse, 2 doors down from my mother. We was living for free. My father was the maintenance guy. I'm chilling. What we got to do it for y'all for? Now I can buy anything that I want to buy. And I still work a regular job. And the bag chasers know what it is that I make for a living. They know all of the businesses. They know what the brokerage account look like. You see me paying cash in order to build this house. And guess what? I still work a regular job, fighting every single day trying to figure out whether or not I can leave it or not. They pay me too much money. Why would I leave it? I got a meeting at 2:30 today that I got to do a presentation for. Mike said we still laughing at you. That's cool. Laugh at me while I'm walking into the bank. Keep laughing. Mike Bout with no profile picture is just an M in blue. It's unfortunate. Yo, become the bank. Stop being preyed upon. Stop being finessed. Stop thinking that you can get rich quick. That ain't the way that it goes. Let me read some of these super chats again. I want to give an acknowledgement to my dog Mike Dub or J Dub. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for continuing to hold me down, my friend. Also, Jamal Fowler is in the building. Shout out to Jamal. Says pass the love offering on a Friday. I appreciate you, Jamal. Tech Coach Ralph is in the building with the two ball. Says they don't plan to pay the middleman back. They want to run off on the plug. They want to run off on the plug. Shout out to Tech Coach Ralph. You keeping it real broke, Mike, but you stick around. You stick around. Gangsta Love says, can 1.5 mil get you your first set of cash flow apartments? Why do y'all? Okay, so let me ask y'all a question. Why are y'all always trying to jump straight into the mire? Why you can't build it slow until you start to understand it? I don't even know anybody that's just sitting around with $1.5 million in cash in the bank. If you sitting on $1.5 million in cash, I got questions for you. Because you're not even supposed to have that type of money just sitting around in cash. I understand if you liquid and you have access to be able to get to 1.5 million, but if you're sitting on 1.5 million, that's unfortunate. Start slow. Stop trying to jump right into the mire. What kind of problems will that apartment have, right? What kind of tenants? What's the occupancy rate, right? It's a lot of things that you can get into. You don't have to jump straight into the big dogs. I don't even own an apartment building yet. I'll get there. And when I get there, I'm going to build it 100%, 100% cash, and I'm going to build it straight up right there. Shout out to Gangster Love. I don't suggest you jump right into it, fam. And I don't own an apartment building, so I can't really advise you on that. Tech Coach Ralph says there is no 6 months boot camp formula. Do the work. Facts. I agree with you. AL says, let me apologize for my ignorance of yesterday's topic. I came in late and I thought you were talking about maturity and arrested development. I didn't realize you was talking about predators. In that context, I sounded crazy. Yeah, you did sound crazy. I was like, what is A talking about? My dog, shout out to Howard B. Says, thanks for teaching me how to stay down. Much love. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. HP in the building. Y'all don't respond to Mike Bout anymore. We could see that he's a child. He don't even know what he's talking about. He don't even use periods in his statements. He just got run-on sentences. Ian says, what kind of investments? Are y'all not a part of the Patreon? Or y'all just want me to give y'all all of the game for free? Shout out to Ian. I appreciate you. Debt-free dad says, saying, I'm good. I don't need financing is great. I don't need nothing from nobody. I don't need no banks. I don't need no loans. I don't need none of that. None of that. 67 Big Mel says, I'd rather ever cash app you instead of paying YouTube to support your show. Add a phone for text and from your support and cut out YouTube. Cash app link is in the description if y'all want to send cash apps. I appreciate it any way you send it. I don't ask for it, but I just acknowledge it. So thank you, 67. But anybody that want to send anything, that link is in the description. Messy Mathematician is in the building. Says, my B-Day tomorrow. Who got my tacos? Hey, Messy, email me your Cash App, and then I'll pay for your lunch today. I'll pay for your lunch, and we'll get there. Antoine says, is it possible to leverage my salary of $54,000? I'm new and still learning. How old are you? I'm curious of that first. I'm new and still learning about these terms you use. Thanks again for your wisdom. What do you mean? Of course, you can leverage any amount of money that you make. This is what I would suggest. If you're young and you're making $54,000 a year, I suggest that you 100% cut out anything that is drawn on your money that does not allow for you to make more money. At 54 bands, A, I'm trying to start a business. B, I'm reinvesting in myself to make more money because you need to be investing in a career to A, fall back on, and then B, to leverage to be able to make more money. And then C, I'm throwing everything that I have into investments. everything that I have into investment. The only way that you can truly leverage a salary is by saying, okay, I'm going to show the bank this. This is how much I make in order to be able to qualify for a loan or qualify for a mortgage and then get into the game that way. I don't suggest it. I suggest stacking everything that you have, starting a business in order to be able to make sure that you reduce the amount that you're paying in taxes and then going from there. So that's what I would suggest. I don't know why y'all so prideful and don't want to go back home. Jamal Fowler says, bring that Mike dude to the front of the... For what, man? You know, I was telling somebody yesterday. Actually, I was on the phone with Q. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com, Messy. I was on the phone with Q last night, and I was telling Q, I said, Q, don't you know that I don't even mess with nobody no more? Like, I don't really mess with any content creators and nothing like that. It's something that's cool. Shout out to the ones that I rock with. I think that it's something that I love to observe. But as far as actually talking to and connecting with, outside of Angry Man and Q and Freezy, my circle is small. My circle is super small. If we just not doing like some straight up business or whatever. Oh, I talk to Pearl. I talk to Pearl on the phone occasionally, so I rock with her. But outside of Freezy, Angry Man, and Q, and Aaron, I don't really mess with nobody. I just stay to myself. I stay low, and I stay focused on enjoying my life and doing the things that I want to do. I ain't really trying to be spending a whole lot of time hanging out with a bunch of people. That's just my thing. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. Anastasio Rodriguez. Let's get to it. All right, so it's a woman and her name is, let me see what her name is. Just Yoshi. You can look her up on YouTube. She has a smaller channel, and then you can also, rock out with her on Instagram. But you can look her up. Her name is Just Yoshi. Just Yoshi. Shout out to Daryl. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. And she said that, and people, actually, y'all sent me this inside of my email. Let me give a little bit of credit to the people that sent this inside of my email. Let me see this real quick. See if I can find you. James. Shout out to James. James sent this to me. Mr. Knight sent this to me, and they said, Anton, you got to check this out. I want you to speak on this. All right. So I said, all right, I'll speak on it. We'll talk about it. Just Yoshi is her name. And I rock out with my bag chasers, obviously, but that goes without saying. Just Yoshi jumped on the internet, and she said this is what she sees living in Atlanta. This is what she see living in Atlanta.
It be so expensive. You go to the grocery store now, like $100 is nothing. $100 going to the grocery store is nothing but some eggs, 1 pack of ground beef, and that's it. Maybe a bottle of water. That's it. And I heard that people are now renting out storage units and living in them. And I don't blame them people because, honey, rent's so high now. What is cheap? Well, how much you rent out a storage unit? Maybe $100 to $200 starting out. At least the smaller storage versus what? 13, 14, 15 to 2,000. You come out cheaper renting out a storage unit. Some people living in hotels, probably coming out cheaper doing that. Rent is so high, y'all, and that's not even. I'm in Atlanta. That's worldwide. Like that's just from state to state. Rent then is going up, but it like increasing with $200 if you renew your lease or stuff. Yeah, child, it's cheaper to rent a storage unit and live there.
I didn't personally know that people was living in storage units. Is that a thing? Y'all saying that is a thing? I didn't know that people was living in storage units. That's a thing? Y'all said I knew a guy who rented a storage unit. Wow, I didn't know that. So y'all ran down to Atlanta. Y'all ran down to Atlanta, and y'all said that was the new Wakanda. No, I didn't talk about Baltimore yet. We're going to talk about that next. Y'all ran down to Atlanta, and y'all said that was the new Wakanda. And y'all saying that everybody is living in storage units. So now I got to, hey, send me some videos of people that's basically breaking down what their life is like inside of a storage unit, because I'm not aware. I did not know that people were literally living inside of storage units. So y'all ran out of y'all mama house, acquired a bunch of debt, and now y'all living in storage units? Is that what the life is like? Okay, so we got storage unit life, van life, and what else? I did not know that. I've never heard of that before. This is the first time that I've ever heard that people actually rent out and live in storage units. Is that legal? I didn't even know that was legal. I did not know that. Is that legal? Is that safe? Are y'all worried about critters and all of that type of stuff? I did not know that. I know I've heard of people having an office outside of a storage unit. I've even heard of people like spicing it up and making it fun or something like that, making it a thing. But I didn't know that people were actually living in storage units.
So I don't blame them people if they trying to save $1. And some people living in their cars. And it's sad that, rent high, food high. You got to pick either you going to eat or you going to live. Everything high. It's just sad, y'all. We in a sad situation. People, these jobs don't want to pay no more. It's sad, y'all. It's time to bring out some side hustles. You better do something. You better think of some side hustles. You better bake some cakes, go on that corner and sell them cakes and pies and cookies. You better do something. You better stop being so scared and make some money out here because shit, it's hard. It's expensive.
So if people are living like this, why was people laughing at me when I went and got another job? Okay, which way do y'all want it? Do y'all want people living in storage units and doing van life and y'all celebrating them and y'all saying, oh, well, people just had to go do what they got to do? Or is it make as much income as you can, try to get the American dream, give people the game on how it is that they can do it also, and then go from there? Thank you, Wealth Building Journey. I appreciate that. Which one is it? Do y'all celebrate it? Do y'all hate it? Do y'all love it? Do y'all want the information? Which one is it? Because if I get a second job where I make more income, people be looking at me like I'm crazy. We all working. We all generating income so that we can hopefully leverage the income in order to make more money. No? Okay, well, I don't know.
Expensive out here to live. So, y'all, bring out what's going on in Atlanta. Y'all, listen, it's crazy out here. Bills high, rent high, food high, everything high. Y'all, people out here now door dashing in UHaul trucks. They renting out UHaul trucks to Uber Eats, like do DoorDash. So they pulling up, if you ordering DoorDash or Uber Eats, they pulling up in U-Haul trucks. I mean, the hustle is real out here. Like, people are needing money, and they're willing to do anything to get it these days. Okay.
Have y'all seen the DoorDash guy and the Uber Eats guy pull up in a U-Haul truck? I'm going to be honest with you. If I see the DoorDash guy or the Uber Eats, I understand you got to do what you got to do. I understand that life is lifing and whatever, or so on and so forth. But, yo, pulling up in a U-Haul truck is crazy. Y'all know what gas cost is? Okay, wait. So y'all sitting here talking stuff. Y'all talking nonsense about electric cars where you can plug up and charge your junk for free. Quick Octane says, I can't be down that bad. All right, so here's my question before we continue to get into this video. At what point is bad? Like, what is your rock bottom? That's the question that I need to ask myself. Because we're going to have a conversation about the tale of two lifestyles. We're going into Baltimore next. We're going to have that conversation. How bad is bad? Like, at what point do you get to the point where you say, you know what, I'm down bad and I'm literally at my rock bottom? My rock bottom was in 2008 when I was having my daughter. She was born in February 2008, the top of the recession, wasn't no jobs available. My wife had to quit her job, and then I had to get on a roll because I was basically jobless at that particular time, and I was going broke after making a whole lot of money. And at that point, for me, that was my rock bottom. That was the day I remember, literally, February 20th, 2008 was the day that I just made up in my mind From here on out, everything is going to be different. From here on out, I will never, ever be subjected to a lifestyle based off of what somebody has to do for me. I am going to forever control the narrative, and I am going to be rich going forward. I made up in my mind on February 20th, 2008, that I was going to, that was my rock bottom, and that from that day forward, my daughter will never, ever see the type of things that I had to see in order to get myself together. I'm not going to ask nobody for nothing. I don't need nothing from nobody. I'm going to build it all myself. I don't care if I have to sleep in it, live in it, whatever. I promised my chick, I promised my daughter that their feet would never hit the ground from that day forward. That was my rock bottom. At what point is it the U-Haul? Is it living in the storage unit? At what point do you hit your rock bottom, or do you continue to compare yourself to the worst of the worst and say, well, I could have it bad or worse than that? 2008 was it for me.
Y'all hear me? They're actually renting out U-Haul trucks to DoorDash and Uber Eats to make a living. And even though it's wrong, I ain't mad at them. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
They also living in U-Haul trucks. So they are renting out like those big U-Haul trucks and living in the back of them U-Haul trucks. I don't know how they living in them. I don't know how they going to.
So your car is your home, and you renting it, and you don't know when U-Haul want it back. And at what point, yo, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. That is insane. I can't, man. I just can't have my fate being determined by somebody else. I can't have my fate being determined by somebody else. I just can't do it. I'm not built like that, man. I can't have my daughter in that type of space. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
The bathroom, and they might go to the store. I don't know what they're doing. But they're living in the back of those U-Haul trucks too. So they getting like one of those big U-Haul trucks and living in them. And they driving around like it's their car. So that's their car. So instead of going paying the car note, they just renting out U-Haul trucks. Y'all, the struggle is real out here, okay? And we don't want to get on people in Atlanta living in these storage units. So they rent out these storage units, you know, in like an inside storage unit. Rent those out, living in those, and living. It's cheaper, y'all. Like, people out here really out here struggling bad, and they find cheaper ways to live. And you really can't be mad at these people, you know what I'm saying? Because stuff is so expensive these days. It's illegal. Of course it's illegal. I'm not promoting this. It's illegal. But people out here doing what they got to do to survive, to live. Y'all, I don't know what's going around. I don't know if it's in other states, but I know it's going on in Atlanta. I have heard. I see people renting out a lot of U-Hauls, not because they moving. They kind of be in hotels and park behind the hotels and stuff like that. So they driving around like their cars. So, yeah. It's going on in Atlanta. This stuff is definitely going on in Atlanta. It's sad. It's just a sad situation. But that's the latest update what's going on. Trying to be these stars. They just think that they're going to come here and just be these stars. It's just a place where everybody just a star at. Yeah, it's regular people living in Atlanta. Atlanta is not like this 24 hours a day. It's people actually out here go to work.
Where? Every time I go to Atlanta, it be 11 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the freeways is on 10. And I'm like, where's everybody at? Ain't nobody got no regular job? Ain't nobody got no regular job over there in Atlanta? Ain't nobody going to work? Why is everybody on the road at the same time? Messy, check that for me. Check your stuff, Messy. Why everybody is on the road at the same time? Look, man. And then you know what the funniest part about this whole situation is? Because I dropped a video on my channel yesterday, and I was talking about going 50-50 and women saying that they don't want to go 50-50. Okay, so you rather be homeless? You don't want to go 50-50, but you rather be homeless because that's what it seems like is happening out here. Y'all struggling, ladies. Everybody is not bossing up. Everybody is not selling a ton of weaves and wigs and eyelashes. Everybody is not getting to the bag. Everybody is not doing whatever it is that they doing. If you find a guy that's willing to go 50-50 with you, grab him up ASAP. If you find a guy that's willing to go 50-50 with you, grab him up ASAP. Got the nerve to be complaining about a man going 50-50 with him. Okay, well, you can go 100-100 by yourself. Go 100-100 by yourself. Because I know y'all struggling. I see what's happening out in these streets. Messy mathematician, check that. Check what it is. You know, I got your email already. I know what y'all struggling with. If you got a guy that's willing to go half with you, go. Take him ASAP. Don't negotiate. Don't sit here and try to be cute. Don't try to be like, oh, I can't believe it. Okay. Bet. You want to get married too? That's what y'all. Listen, women, it's tough out here. And it's about to get dark outside. They're about to make the adjustment, daylight savings or whatever it is. You better grab him. Keep having your standards too high. No, I'm going to wait for the guy that's going to pay for everything. Okay, well, you can wait by yourself. Pay 100 of everything you got. Or you can live in that UHaul or that rental space that you got. Y'all got a lot of pride. Y'all got broke people that don't have nothing, that got a whole lot of debt but still got a high credit score. They got a whole lot of pride. I can't understand it. How is it that the people that have the least got the most pride, but the people that got the most is the most humble? How is it that people that got the least got the most pride, they got the highest standards, they want the best restaurants and the best food? I could tell you right now, I can call my chick right now and say, hey, man, you want to go to Wendy's and go get a Biggie Fry and share a Frosty? I can call my chick right now and say, hey, you want to go and get some Wendy's, get a Biggie Fry and share a Frosty? She'd be like, oh, I don't care. Let's go. I don't care. Let's do it. I don't want to cheat. I don't know if she already watching the show.
Hello.
Hey, you busy? What you doing?
Sitting under the dryer at the hair shop.
Oh, okay. You not watching the show then?
Yes, I am.
Oh, so you already know what I was about to say then.
I do not. I don't be knowing what you about to say.
Because I know the show is on a delay, but you probably already heard that I said I was about to call you.
No, I didn't hear that. It hadn't got to that part for me yet.
Hey, you want to because I know you probably won't be wanting to go out on the weekend and stuff. I think we should just, I don't know, probably just like go get some Wendy's. You know what I'm saying? Go get a Frosty, go get a Biggie Fry, and just see what's happening.
Okay, that's fine with me.
You don't care?
No, why would I care?
Because we got a whole lot of money and stuff.
So, I like French fries and shakes. French fries is one of my favorite meals. You know that already.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I risked it, and I won again. I risked it, and I won again. I don't care nothing about no Roof Chris and all of that other type of stuff. Yo, let's go get a Frosty from Wendy's. I need my check too. Yo, let's go get a Frosty from Wendy's. Let's go and do whatever, so on and so forth. I'm not going to no Wendy's. I'm not going to no Wendy's. I might go get a Frosty. But my point is this. If you say that you like the Wendy's, you might go and get that D Prime. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, shout out to everybody that's living in the U-Haul. I feel for you. I genuinely feel for you. I hope that everything is cool. Anyways, let's continue over with the show. Let me read some of the super chats and then we'll go from there. Anastasio Rodriguez says, 8760, when you said that a gear in my head started turning for me. Shout out to you, my friend. I appreciate you. Daryl Ballard says, I turned 40 on Monday. If your channel existed 10 years ago, I'd be a millionaire right now. Well, how about being a millionaire by 50? That way you have another 40 in order to live the life that you really want to, Daryl. Thanks for saving the community, my brother. We ain't got to wait. Listen, if you 40, then get it by 50. You can still be a millionaire by 50. Counselor Mr. G says, most just don't get the power of living below your means. Chicago versus Detroit, trash. Talk aside, I will call in later if you have open lines to talk about inflation, precious metals, and prepping. Shout out to Counselor Mr. G in the building. Zach says, women are definitely out here selling them cakes, flooding the market. For how much? $40? Can't be any more than $39.99. It's a recession out here. Anastasio says gas is less than $3 in the Gap. And Gwinnett, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Issa says people hurt, but Biden giving $100 billion to Israel. I ain't depending on Biden in order for me to survive. That's just me personally. Derek Johnson is in the building, says, salute to you. Thank you, Derek Johnson. I appreciate you. Knobs S says, check out Atlanta street interviews and you will see a lot of folks that came to Atlanta, effed around and found out a lot of sad stories. Atlanta is the new Hollywood. Same story, different day. 67 says, I'd rather cash you after you to support the show instead of paying YouTube. Add a phone line for text for your supporters during the show for direct deposits. Cut out YouTube. You are the bank mindset. I gotta give YouTube they cut. You know what I'm saying? They are letting me leverage their platform in order to continue to broadcast to y'all. So we'll figure it out. Aaron says at 15 I couldn't afford the motel. So we lived in the Geo Metro with a busted back window and ate off a bag of nacho chips for a month in the Chicago winter. That's crazy. That's crazy. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. If you're not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get to Baltimore. Let's get the BMore in the building. Let's get the BMore. I heard it's tough over there in Baltimore. Somebody tried to hold me accountable. Why strong and safe? I'm going to read that super chat shortly. Thank you, my friend. Somebody tried to hold me accountable in my email. They said, Anton, are you scared to hold Baltimore accountable? I said, who's scared? Who's scared? I know you ain't talking to me. I know you ain't talking to me. I already had Baltimore on my list. But since you called me out, let me do a little bit of exploring, right? And so as soon as I did that, y'all know how when you talk on the phone or when you read an email and when you mention something, it's almost like your algorithm start being recommending stuff that you mentioned, and I start getting stuff popping up on my timeline about Baltimore like that. I started getting stuff popping up on my timeline about Baltimore like that. Let's see what Baltimore is talking about. I'm curious. This is within a day. All of this stuff that I'm sharing with you is within 24 to 48 hours. Let's have a conversation about Baltimore.
Surveillance video captures the moments leading up to the attack of a man riding a scooter in South Baltimore, part of a disturbing weekend trend across the city. Now, City Council member Eric Costello, who represents that district, is laying out his frustration in a fiery letter to the mayor's office.
Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor joins us live with his response tonight. Rebecca?
Well, according to Councilman Costello, that attack is just one of 49 incidents like it that took place across the city this weekend. He is...
Wait. one of 49 robbery instances that took place across the city on the weekend. So wait a minute. Baltimore is just as bad, if not worse, than Chicago, Southside? Southside? Wait. One of 49. One of 49. Messi, I'm going to read that super chat shortly. One of 49. Are you telling me that this is one of 49 instances that happened over past weekend? Okay, Baltimore, you on my radar now.
Is now demanding that this troubling trend be addressed and those suspects arrested. Another harrowing overnight attack in South Baltimore caught on home surveillance camera. After nearly hitting a man riding a scooter, 2 cars trap the victim, and several suspects jump out, demanding he hand over his phone and wallet. The victim agrees, then darts off as the suspects follow close behind.
I didn't think somebody would rob somebody on a scooter.
It makes me feel like I need to be thinking twice about where I am in the evening.
It comes on the heels of a similar...
Wait. They set up homie on a scooter? You see the second car coming in and blocking him in? Baltimore, y'all that desperate? Now listen, I am a fan of The Wire. The Wire is my favorite series of all time. But I didn't know it was really like that in the streets in Baltimore. Wait. Y'all running up in black cars on a dude that's on a scooter? No way. Listen, I've heard of break-ins. I know over there in California, they following people home from the luxury store. I didn't know that y'all was running up on scooter riders. Y'all setting up the scooter riders, so y'all sitting over there and y'all riding in the scooter lane on purpose on the opposite side of the street? Okay, Baltimore. We definitely gonna bring y'all to the front of the congregation. Let's see what's happening.
Suspects follow close behind.
I didn't think somebody would rob somebody on a scooter.
It makes me feel like I need to be thinking twice about where I am in the evening.
It comes on the heels of a similar crime spree last week. BPD reporting half a dozen carjackings and armed robberies stretching from Canton to Federal Hill.
That sounds scary. If somebody is screaming and y'all just doing random carjackings, you know, one of the things that I wanted to do, I wanted to take once a week, go over to and visit a different place every single week. Once a week, go over and visit a different place every single week. And I wanted to see what was happening in the streets, but I ain't scared, but I'm a little bit more cautious than I usually would be. I mean, I run around with security, but good God. Y'all telling me I can't go and visit these places? Anton need to be a little bit more careful. Keep your Apple Watch on, stay in your own city. See, I'm very comfortable in my city. I'm very comfortable. People was trying to get on me about being at a gas station at night yesterday. I'm very, very comfortable in my city. And let's be clear, just because you don't see them, don't mean that they're not there. Just because you don't see them, don't mean that they're not there. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I think I'm about to go on tour.
Hill, where a woman screams,
"It's scary,"
following an attack on an innocent dog walker, rattling residents.
They need to come up with a tangible plan to solve this, and it needs to happen quickly.
And Councilman Eric Costello,
BPD wasn't aware of that incident,
agrees.
It's wildly frustrating is that citizens across the city are being terrorized and BPD needs to do something about it.
Costello criticizing BPD for a lack of investigating, claiming after the most recent attack taking place directly beside the highly secured Federal Reserve Bank, detectives never following up with the victim or searching for surveillance video.
It's ridiculous that no one bothered to reach out to either of them to get camera footage. There are HD cameras all over the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond campus.
In a fiery letter sent to Baltimore's Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Anthony Barksdale, Costello writing, quote, "These violent individuals need to be arrested and this pattern of crimes needs to be ended. Although his trust a tangible plan will be put in place."
I'm confident in Deputy Mayor Barksdale, but I've lost confidence in the administration's ability to manage this problem.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. You're a city council member. One thing that I know for sure and two things for certain is that the city council, in a lot of instances, is more powerful than the mayor in most cities. I know that for a fact. I know that for sure. The city council is, in a lot of instances, a lot more powerful than the mayor. The mayor has power. The city council is just as responsible. They're the ones that allocate all of the funds and the resources as far as where it is that you need to do as far as balancing the city budget. They have to approve it. Shout out to Avon Barksdale.
The administration's ability to manage this problem.
Shaky.
Passing the
along with
blame.
many of the residents he serves.
I've spent every waking moment over the last 5 days fielding phone calls, text messages, and emails from residents who don't feel safe. People are scared to come out of their home in the middle of broad daylight. That is insane.
We're tired of all the talk and no action.
Let me see what else is happening in Baltimore. I'm not familiar. Let me see what's going on over here.
Car thefts have been a problem across Baltimore this year. City police have reported more than 9,000 car thefts, nearly triple the amount through this time last year. One woman shared her headache with Fox 45 News after her car was stolen twice.
You're taking stuff out from people that's really, really working hard. I didn't steal to get this vehicle. I worked hard to get it. And I need somebody to be held accountable for it. Whether it's the parents, something has to give.
The woman says teens stole her car and police told her they couldn't charge the teens because of their age. Fox 45's Amy Simpson shares her frustration with the juvenile justice system.
A victim of auto theft, not once, but twice. Tanika Gaskin.
Kia Boys is over there in Baltimore running it up. Kia Boys is over there in Baltimore. They not just taking the cars, they carjacking too, though.
Catching the second crime on doorbell camera Sunday night. This Baltimore woman tells Fox 45 News she had just recovered her car from the...
Not the Crocs with the dollar signs on the front of them. Not the Crocs with the dollar signs on them. Good God. I know he's supposed to be focusing on Baltimore, but good God, girl. They said we're going to record these Crocs because we don't want to get her on camera. We want to protect her identity.
First crime days before.
They constantly just taking the car. I just got it back on the 19th.
Gaskin's car was stolen the first time about 6 weeks ago, back on September 14th. Baltimore police recovering the vehicle that same day, here along North Charles Street, saying officers followed the stolen car into this parking garage.
It was only one way in and one way out, so that's how they got caught by the police.
BPD arresting two teen boys that day, a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old.
All right, so Aaron said yesterday that they need to be adults at 13 years old. Okay, cool. I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. And so you got a 15 and a 17-year-old that's out here running the streets. And they decided that they want to go become Kia Boys. They stealing cars and doing damage all across the entire United States of America.
Really wow. Gaskin sharing these videos of what her car looked like. A busted tire, ignition, and interior a mess. This victim also sharing some of what investigators allegedly told her.
It was in a high-speed chase. It was involved in a few robberies.
But despite two teens.
So they stole her car, went into a high-speed chase. It was involved in a couple of robberies, the whole 9 yards. So this is what's happening over in Baltimore, right? At least when Chicago get their criminals, they do arrest them and they let them free on bail. Baltimore cops, the police said that these kids, they calling them kids, 15 and 17-year-olds. Remember what Aaron said yesterday? These kids took her car, did a few robberies, went on a high-speed chase, and then they followed them into the garage where they arrested them. Okay? You can't make this up. This is exactly what's being communicated to us.
Being arrested by police. According to this auto theft victim, it's unclear if accountability will come.
And then the other day they told me that they were no longer able to prosecute the case.
This woman telling Fox 45 News she's distraught over all of it.
They had a case against them and things of that nature, and they just told me that because they juveniles, they couldn't really charge them.
This is America. This is America. They know that the car was being used in robberies, theft, high-speed chases, so on and so forth. They damaged the car, completely destroyed it. And the police are saying that they let them go because they are minors. They're technically still kids, and they cannot prosecute them, so they just let them go. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. They let them go. They had them. They arrested them. They have the evidence of them doing a lot of these different things, and they let them go because they were minors. That's insane. That is insane. What other city do y'all need me to address and see what's going on out here in these streets?
And that's my problem. Like, it's nothing but juveniles that's out here just hopping in these kids and Hyundais and just taking them as if it's their cars.
Today, Fox 45 News sending questions to the Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office about the pair of teens arrested. How long were these suspects in custody? What charges were these suspects facing? And why were these charges dropped? A spokesperson for the state's attorney's office replying with one line. Due to Maryland's shielding law, we are unable to share information about cases prosecuted in the juvenile system.
Our system is a joke. I ain't even scared no more. I ain't even scared. If I ever get locked up, I already know that I got enough money that I'm going to be fine. I'm black in America and I got money. You can forget it. I'm never going to jail. I'm never going to jail. I ain't even got to worry about it. I'm never going to jail. I don't want to hear anything about y'all talking about systematic racism and oppression is keeping y'all down and locked up. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear anything about systematic oppression, racism, anything going on out here in these streets. I do not want to hear it at all. Not even a little bit.
Leaving Gaskins still without a car and without answers. Another resident frustrated over juvenile crime in Baltimore City.
It's like a slap in the face. They can commit these crimes, get put on probation for about a few days, and then next thing you know, the charge is getting dropped. Or it's
now, if I defend myself or I defend my property, you know what's going to be happening with y'all? Y'all going to be out here protesting. If I defend myself or I defend my property, y'all will be out here protesting, talking about the police ain't ish, and y'all will be holding them accountable. And it's all going to be white people's fault. That's a fact. Let's talk. Let's figure out who this mayor is. I want to know who this mayor is with this big hair.
A city plagued with problems, a fallen firefighter, skyrocketing juvenile crime, a record number of stolen cars.
And now Baltimore voters have to make a decision about their future. Good evening. I'm Vincent Hill.
And I'm Maxine Stryker. Thanks so much for joining us. The primary election still months away, but one thing is clear. Voters will be demanding
Got y'all cash apps. I'm going to read those shortly.
We're saying enough is enough.
The winds of change are blowing through Baltimore as election season quickly approaches.
The state of Baltimore is a state of emergency right now.
Top of mind for voters is public safety. According to the latest Goucher poll, nearly half of voters feel crime has gotten worse in their neighborhood over the past year.
We ain't got to worry about that. You know why? You ain't got to worry about it. I'll tell you why. Let me do a little bit of research. Who was his mayor? Mayor of Baltimore. Mayor Brandon Scott, the guy that's at the bottom of my screen right there. He ain't got to worry about it. Baltimore voter turnout rate. Oh, you ain't got to worry about this. It don't even matter. It don't even matter. The voter turnout rate in Baltimore is abysmal anyway. Wow. Who votes for mayor in Baltimore? All right, so let me tell y'all why it don't matter. This is beautiful. I'm glad that we have this data and this information. And I didn't even expect to go into this today. Let me show you what's happening over in Baltimore. So, this is a website. It's called whovotesformayor.org, and it's specifically exploring Baltimore, right? Whovotesformayor.org. That is where I'm getting my source from. It says, let's go over to the 35.9%. No, actually, let's go over to this. In Baltimore, 35.9% of registered voters over the age of 65 voted, as compared to, this is the beautiful number, 5.7% of registered voters 18 through 34 is voted. So you telling me people, first of all, we're going to talk about the people that are registered to vote. We're not even talking about the entire population. We only going to talk about people that are registered. So let's assume that half of the people are registered or 75% of the people are registered, right? That means of just the demographic of people that are registered to vote in Baltimore, ages 18 through 34, 5.7% of the people actually voted. It don't even matter. It don't even matter. 5.7% of registered voters ages 18 through 34 actually participated in the mayoral race. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? See, the numbers don't lie. You can sit here and say whatever you want to say when you want to say it. You can blame it on the man. You can blame it on life. You can blame it on a lot of the different things that's going on in society. But see, the one thing about Anton is that I'm going to get to the root of it. And so while you sitting here talking about I bet you if they said reparations is on the board, y'all would be in line. I bet you 100% of the people that was a voter age 18 through 34 that was trying to get them STEMI checks, I bet you they was there. I would bet, listen, I would be willing to bet. I would be willing to bet $100,000 that there were a higher percentage of the population ages 18 through 34 that applied for pandemic loans, PPP loans, than turned out to vote for mayor. I will be willing to bet more people apply for unemployment insurance and pandemic loans than actually showed up to vote 18 through 34 in Baltimore specifically. Because Baltimore is not by itself. This is just a reflection of what happens in your communities. So you can't say anything because you don't even participate in the process. You don't even listen. It's more important for you to participate in the local elections because this is not just for the mayor. This is the mayoral election. This is your city council members. This is your treasurers. This is your judges, right? You get to determine everything that happens in your city, but then only 5.7% of registered voters, which means that of the people that are registered, not the people that are actually participating, or that have the ability to participate, some people never even registered. So actually this number is much lower. It's probably more like 3%. So y'all want me to hold Baltimore accountable and you want me to hold the mayor accountable, but at first we have to hold you accountable because you're not even participating in your own success. Why would I hold them accountable when you actually know what's going on in your neighborhood? You know Baltimore better than I know Baltimore. You know what streets is cracked, what roads is messed up, what schools is doing. You know who the drug dealers are. You know who the pedos are. You know who the crackheads are. You know who the people the crooked cops. You know them. You know them by name. You probably cool with them. You see them on a regular basis. You have a conversation with them. You know the people, the robbers, the jackers, the killers, the thugs, the prostitutes, the chicks for the streets. You know what's happening in your community more than I do. Now here's the interesting part about it. 5.7% of registered voters 18 through 34 actually participated in the mayoral race, right? Right? Let's put it in perspective. Less than 6% of the population that's registered to vote. So let's just use our mental math and say 4%, 3% of the population actually participated in the mayoral election, right? Cool? Y'all don't like that number? That's a problem for you? Huh? Is that an issue? You want me to hold them accountable and you didn't even participate in the process at all? At what point do we hold ourselves accountable? First, before we start to have a conversation about whoever these elected officials are that's doing whatever it is that they doing. Y'all think he voted? Before we hear what this guy got to say, do you think that he voted? I bet you they on Instagram. I bet you a huge part of the population is on TikTok. Why we so messed up? Why we so messed up? Why we can't get right? Why we always on the no plan? Why y'all want me to hold Baltimore accountable and y'all the ones that's having the kids that then go out and rob everybody else and you can't even get your own house? I'm going to hold you accountable before I hold Baltimore accountable. That don't mean that Baltimore can't come to the front of the congregation. I'm going to bring Baltimore fully to the front of the congregation tomorrow. But what? Forget this clip. Let's go to this clip. Why is it 5.7% of registered voters age 18? Y'all sitting here talking about election fraud and mail-in ballots and other. We ain't got to worry about over in Baltimore. And you know what the funniest part about this whole thing is? You know, let me blow this up. Let me get you all of the stats. You know what the funniest part about this whole thing is? Drug-infested, jackers, robbers, stealers, Kia boys, dope fiends, dope dealers. Y'all will go through arm's length to watch Scarface and then go and try to find you a plug. Man, who brought it into the community? You did. You went and searched for it so you can flood the community with fentanyl and horse tranquilizers. Okay, cool. So now that we bringing people to the front of the congregation and we starting to have an honest conversation, let me ask you a question. If I or the people, the man, come in, tear everything down, gentrify it, and then price you out and make it better and fix up the schools, you gonna be mad? It's people that lived in these neighborhoods and they should not be pushed out. If I come in and I fix it and I gentrify it, you're gonna be mad on that front too. So if I fix your community and we raise the property taxes, you're gonna be mad. And the schools, if I don't fix your community, you're gonna be mad and you're not gonna turn out to vote for the mayor anyway. Which one you want? Because you can't please people. And you're going to be hated either way. You're going to be hated either way. You can't please people and you're going to be absolutely pissed off either way. So which one do you want? Do you want me to gentrify your neighborhood? Because it's going to cost me more and I'm still taking a risk. And push you out so you can be living over there like they're doing in Atlanta, living in your cars, taking your showers at Planet Fitness. I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely, positively disgusted at what it is that I see happening over in BMore today, because this should not be a thing. I'm going to come back to you, Mayor. Mayor, I'm coming back. What's his name? Brandon Scott? Brandon Scott, you got off today because I had to hold the people accountable for only showing up 5.7% of registered voters 18 through 34. I'm coming back to you, Brandon Scott, the 52nd mayor of Baltimore. We gonna come back to you. Matter of fact, let me see something really quickly. City of Baltimore, Brandon Scott. Let's see if we can do this. You know what we do. One day I'm gonna get lucky. One day I'm gonna get lucky.
Please hold. Your call will be answered as quickly as possible by the next available operator.
Oh, that's a black woman. That's definitely a black woman.
Please stay on the line after the call for a brief survey. New City Operator, this is Patrice. How can I help you?
Hi. Is there any way I could be forwarded to Mayor Brandon Scott's office?
Yes, this calls go through Constituent Services. When I press 1, I transfer, you press 1.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. You're welcome, sir. Thank you for calling the Mayor's Office of Constituent Services. To reach Constituent Services call center, press 1. To reach correspondence. Please stay on the line after the call for a brief survey.
We might as well read some of these super chats while we got on the line. We bust down some of these super chats so we can move over because I want y'all to be able to cam up and say what y'all want to say. Why Strong and Safe says, hi, my name is Anton Daniels. I was wondering, is it any way for me to be able to reach out and talk to the mayor?
Yes. So in order to request a meeting or speak with the mayor, you would need to schedule it, and that would need to be done online at baltimorecity.gov.
Oh, so I can schedule it online and speak to him. Okay, because I'm a vlogger, I'm a YouTuber, and I'm actually in support of Mayor Brandon Scott. And I was trying to figure out, is it a way, because I'm probably going to be in the DC area next weekend. And I was trying to figure out, is it a way that I can kind of maybe vlog or maybe get an interview with him or something like that to kind of get his thoughts on a lot of the different things and the issues that's going on during election season.
Okay. Yeah, so there, if you go to baltimorecity.gov, there's a tab that says Mayor's Office. Once you click on that, there'll be a tab that says Contact the Mayor.
Yeah, I went to it, and then it has the name and the representing the business or the vendor or whatever. But I wanted to see if it was a way that I can expedite the process, simply because I know that I'm only going to be in there next week, and I was trying to really get that done.
Did you put that in the comments? Because that information goes to a different office. We don't have the mayor's schedule where we can look at his schedule and say, oh, he's going to be available next week. He has a scheduling office that handles all of that. So you should have put that in the comments that you're going to be in or in the area next week, so his scheduler can see that and check his schedule to see if he is available next week and contact you to let you know.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
So they would be able to expedite that. We wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay, so the only way to be able to get them on the schedule is to fill out the form.
You can call their office. You get a recording to leave your name and number. You might get a phone call back, and I don't know how.
Yeah, that generally don't work.
They are, but I can give you the telephone number.
Sure. Okay. What's the telephone number?
It's 410. 396 4889.
4889?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Bye.
You have reached the scheduling office of Mayor Brandon M. Scott. To request a meeting with the mayor, please visit us online at www.mayor.baltimorecity.gov to fill out a request form. Thank you and have a great day.
All right, so we're going to fill it out online. I'm going to leave it up. Shout out to Gone Postal out here in these streets, running it up for us, holding us down. I appreciate you, big dog. Also on top of that, Cornelius Jackson sent that 10 ball. I appreciate you, big dog, on Cash App. Thank you, my friend. Justin sent the 10 ball on Cash App. I appreciate you, big dog. Wise, strong, and safe with ABJ says, I'm a brand new bag chaser, Mr. Daniels. See you in DC on the 4th. Thank you, my friend, for holding me down. Messi says, I want to express my genuine gratitude for you, Anton, for Rita's sweet spirit, and for this wonderful chat. Best show on YouTube, period. I love you. Keep it up. Run it up. Shout out to my girl, Messi, in the building. Link Jack says, Wendy's, that's trill, bro. Y'all keep sleeping on that Wendy's Biggie Fry. You know what I'm saying? Jay Quad says, Baltimore is like robberies like in Colombia, particularly the Matos in Cartagena, where a tourist got robbed of a gold chain. That's what they robbing people for over there, gold chains. Dang. It's light out here in these streets. The Corolla Boy says, the Baltimore mayor needs to ask himself every morning, is that fro adding value to his life? I think that fro is atrocious, to be honest with you. Chef Cartez Jones says, they can't charge the teens. Will I get charged if I whoop them with my belt? Yup. And you going to jail. And they protesting against you. Sly White says, your math is the only math that is mathing. Zero interest gets you there quicker, period. Absolutely. KS says, people want it both ways, which is why Baltimore people talk crazy about Kevin Plank, but he's doing his building the way he sees fit through Under Armour. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. My dog, people love good quality, which I have on a hat right now, says, hey, Anton, I want to let your listeners and bag chasers know we have a huge sale up to 50% off this weekend. Best morning show. Go to People Love Good Quality. You can put it into your Google searches and all of that, and then you can follow them on Instagram, and they have a 50% sale off this weekend. They don't pay me not one dime. I don't ask for anything. They offered, but I said, nah, I'm not taking anything from you. You're a bag chaser. I just love you people. So make sure y'all go and support y'all friends over there. People love good quality. They actually have really dope stuff. Link Jack says, Anton, you funny AF, bro. Love what you doing. Thank you, Link Jack. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you, my friend. All right, so one more thing that I want to share with you guys, and then I'm opening it up for you guys to be able to cam up and say whatever it is that you want to say to me if you disagree. Only if you disagree with me. Only if you disagree with me. I would like for you guys to cam up. But before I do that, I want to share one more thing with you guys. Let me see. How do I want to do this? Oh, this is what I want to talk about. Renting versus buying. Renting versus buying. So, the debate often at times around what it is that we talk about on the internet is how to get rich. How to get rich. And everybody has an opinion on what it is that you should do as far as running up a check and running up a bag. I personally believe that, or let me just revise this, because I actually haven't seen this video yet, but I've seen it pop up on my timeline from somebody that I watch. I am the type of person that believes in renting where I live and then leveraging what it is that I own in order to make more money from it. So the properties that I actually own and I'm building, you make money from those. And then the properties that I want to live in, I want to live maintenance free. I want to live, work, and play all in the same area. I like being in the city. I like apartments. I like buildings. I like all of that stuff. I don't like living in houses. I like concierge. I like security. I like being on the high floors. I like views. I like cities. I know everybody got a completely different view of it, right? But I like a different lifestyle, and so I prefer to rent versus live where I buy or purchase. But also on top of that, there are business. Let me see how I want to put this, because I want to be very careful about my words on this live stream. It's a lot of people watching. We got about 2,000 people watching on multiple different platforms. There are benefits financially that comes along with renting that a lot of people that buy can't really leverage or exercise. Let's just put it like that. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right. But it's a video that's going that I seen pop up on my timeline today. And the video was basically rich people walking around and asking rich people why they prefer to rent versus buying. I have not seen this video yet. I want to review it with you guys. I am going to drop the link in the chat for you guys to be able to come up here. You do not have to be on camera if you don't want to, but if you have any disagreement with me whatsoever, you are more than welcome to be able to come on the platform. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you hit a like for the Facebook algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let's get it rocking.
Hey guys, so in today's video, we'll be asking renters why they don't just buy a house. Now, personally, I rent 2 different apartments. One has a primary residence and one also has an office. So I have my reasons for renting, but
So he himself, and he's a really big YouTuber. I think he has like 750,000. His name is Charlie Chang. Oh, he got 1 million. So he got over 1 million subscribers. He does really well on YouTube, and he rents 2 different apartments. One where he lives and then one where he uses as an office. And I'm assuming that he writes that off as a business expense. But he's going to be going around and asking other people that have means and resources why they rent versus buy.
really curious to hear what other people have to say. So we'll be asking questions like, how much rent do you pay? Do you feel like you're throwing away your money by not building equity? And what do you actually do for work? Since, you know, these apartments, they're really expensive. So I'm curious to see how people actually make their money. In this video, I'll be bringing along OnePlus's latest foldable phone, and I'll be testing it out and giving you guys my thoughts on it. So let's get started.
That's an advertisement.
I just want to say I've seen your videos before in the past. Let's make it happen. Awesome.
So what's your name, age, and what do you do for a living?
My name is Kevin Lee. I am 21 and I do e-commerce.
That dude do not look 21. He look every bit of 36.
For a living.
Why do you rent?
I lived 21 years in the Bay Area, and this is my first time living in SoCal. So it'd be, you know, a big commitment just, you know, buying a house here.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have a feel of if I like SoCal, and renting has less of a commitment.
How much do you guys pay for rent?
We pay about $4,600 a month.
Is that too much? Do y'all think that that's too much money? Do you guys think that $4,600 a month is too much? Do you think that $4,600 a month in rent is too much? Let me know in the comments, y'all.
For a 2-bedroom.
How much do you need to make to be able to afford an apartment like that?
Maybe like 200, 300K a year profit.
Is it worth it living in California?
California has really good weather, really good people. Well, it really depends where you are, right? And this apartment helps with kind of filtering down the people. It might seem a little bit shallow, but I think it's important to, you know, surround yourself with the right people, especially if you want to succeed and you want to be thinking about the right things. For myself, California is worth it, and I do see myself staying here for a long time.
How did you get into e-commerce?
E-commerce was something that there was no ceiling to how much you can make. And then it also aligned with the reason why I wanted to make money, and it's for freedom. Freedom of time to be able to be here, speak with you. Freedom of location. My operations center is back in San Jose, and I live here. And then freedom of, you know, money. Being able to afford this beautiful apartment, have, you know, nice cars, be able to go out to a nice lunch after this.
Can you share what you sell?
So we sell BMW carbon fiber parts. We sell the spoiler, front lip, the grills, the diffuser, exhaust tip. We do performance parts as well.
Nice. What do you drive?
I drive a BMW M4.
Okay. What's your most expensive monthly payment? Is it your apartment, or is it your car, or something else?
That's a good question. It's actually none of those. The car is paid off. The apartment is actually very little compared to.
He's giving you literally my lifestyle. He's literally giving you my lifestyle. He said, listen, the car is paid off. right? And my biggest expense has neither one of those things is my biggest expense. I'm curious as to what his biggest expense is.
So the business expense. So the business expense includes fulfillment, the team. You know, we're getting a warehouse soon, so it's mainly the business, and it's not in a sense where it's draining the bank account. It's more so an investment because that business provides me cash flow.
And you're super young. You're only 21. How did you get started so early?
Part of it is mindset and kind of like what pushes you, right? So for myself, when I left high school, I went to college for 1 semester, and I realized that this was just like high school, and I didn't want to learn something that, you know, I wanted to do from someone who's not doing it, and that was make a lot of money.
How much did you start your business with? How much money?
I started my business with just $2,000, and we've grown that past 6 figures.
Which is one of the reasons why in the Patreon, listen, this cannot be any better than what it is right now. Shout out to everybody that's sending support for the show, which is one of the reasons why I am doing an Investing in Business series where I'm giving you guys the hopefully the financial support that you need in order to get your business started inside of the Patreon in late November. So that's going to be absolutely awesome. But he said that he started his business with $2,000, but his business biggest expenses is continuing to grow the business, which is exactly what you should be spending a majority of your money on. I love it.
So when are you going to move to a house? When are you going to buy?
It's really no rush for me right now. And even if I got a house, I wouldn't know what to do with all that space.
Right. What's the best piece of advice that you've been told ever?
This gentleman who's worth over 100 mil gave me this advice. And this was, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, copy it and do it better.
Yep.
Because everything in the world's already been done.
What do I tell y'all inside of the Patreon? Every time we do a mastermind session, every time we do a coaching call, every time we come together, every time y'all meet me in person, I keep telling y'all 2 things that I tell y'all. People gonna talk about y'all no matter what. Make sure they talk about you and they paying you at the same time. That's number 1. And then number 2, I tell you guys that you don't have to be super inventive and super have this great idea. All you got to do is look at where it is that you can fill a gap, right? When I started my web development company, my biggest thing was the only reason that I went into software engineering in the first place is because I wanted to do it better than what everybody else is doing as far as e-commerce or whatever, right? I didn't start the web development company because I wanted it to be a web development company. The web development company came as a result of then owning and building the applications that we wound up owning that wound up becoming incredibly profitable much, much earlier in my career, right? But here's the key though. Here was the key. Where we was trying to figure out, and this is one of the reasons why I sold my first app and I first got, my first bag, was we figured out what everybody else was doing and how to add a better experience to it. So we didn't go in and try to invent something. We looked at what everybody else was doing and we tried to solve a problem and fill a gap within the marketplace and create a better experience as a result of it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to do something. When you see something and you're an expert at it or you can understand it a little bit differently, you don't even have to take on that business. You can take on a part of the business. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example, right? He said that he's a part of and sells basically aftermarket parts for BMW, right? One of the things that I see all the time, even when it comes to the fact that my Porsche is still in the shop, they fixing it right now, I just got my Benz back or whatever, so on and so forth, right? One of the things is I find that every time that I have a problem or I have to take my stuff over to the dealership or I have to get something fixed, it takes a very, very long time for them to then get the parts because they have to order them from a part place or whatever, and there's so much demand for it, and the automakers are having problems and the suppliers and all of this stuff and unionized places and logistics and everything like that. The first thing that came to my mind was, man, if I had the capacity, I would start up a aftermarket parts place to where I would fill a need for some of the most in-demand cars. Maybe it's Kias. The Kia boys is out here stealing stuff. And one of the things that Kia is having problems with is manufacturing enough parts to actually get these things fixed, in addition to solving for the rental problem, right? Or not the rental problem. It's in order to solve for the security problem of preventing people from stealing the cars, right? In all of those different scenarios, whether you want to invent something from a security perspective or create a better experience or, get into e-commerce as far as allowing for people to be able to order parts faster, cheaper, and being able to manufacture them, or maybe you can, go and get a 3D printer and print the parts up yourself and then go out and start doing this type of stuff and then Figure out how you can market yourself more effectively for people that are looking for the particular part. It's so many different ways to make money. So many different ways to make. This is just stuff that's just coming up right off the top of my head. When I walk around, I see opportunity. When I walk around and I see stuff, I'll be thinking to myself, man, you can make a lot of money from that. And I think about it every day, all day, every day, all day, every day. That's all I think about every day. I see stuff, I'll be like, man, it's a market opportunity for that. Man, if they just marketed themselves a little bit differently, man, they could fill that need. Wow, they ain't gonna have no parts for a month. I wonder how many other owners or whatever is dealing with that. What's the process of 3D printing? Should I 3D print houses? That's how I started building houses. It was a void in the marketplace because I didn't want to participate during the pandemic of the low interest rates, which then drove up the prices of houses. And the Patreon members will tell you, that's why I started buying land. I didn't just come up with the bright idea of start buying land in order to start building houses myself. I did it because my mindset, and this is why entrepreneurs keep trying to tell y'all all the time, the first thing you need to do is you need to change your mindset. The first thing you need to do is change your mindset. You have to reprogram yourself and unlearn all of the BS. The minute that you stop running in the victim Olympics is the minute that you start opening up the possibilities for how you can start making money. I will never be broke because there's too many ways for me to get a bag, and I don't need anybody to give me an idea. All I have to do is go out and participate in society. The idea will then manifest itself by me seeing where the voids are in the marketplace. You fill a void in the marketplace, you then get rich as a result of it. Right? So my point is this. Y'all have to unlearn the BS, stop running in the victim Olympics, and then your opportunities will start to present itself. You will never be broke. You will never be broke, ever. You will never be broke. It's so much money and opportunity for you to then be able to make a bag. It's just money all over the place. It's all around you. I'm sorry. We got to get back to the show. My bad.
So you just need to find a model that works, do it, and then improve on it.
Thank you so much. So what's your name, age, and what do you do for a living?
My name is Janice. I'm 33.
She not quite hitting the wall yet. Shout out to Janice, the luxury store manager. She not quite. Shout out to Charlie Chang for picking the right ones. Janice is in the building.
A luxury retail store manager at South Coast Plaza.
Why do you rent?
Just have to, because in California it's too expensive to buy.
Would you mind sharing how much you pay for rent here?
$3,400.
Okay. Do you ever have plans on buying a house?
Oh yeah, I would love to, eventually, but it's too expensive right now.
So do you feel like you're throwing away money just by paying for rent?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, outrageous to think about sometimes.
So then how do you console yourself?
Just gotta be patient, I guess. I mean, there's not much else you can do. So it's either just if you want to pay for a comfortable lifestyle, obviously this is really nice here. You know, you could have a roommate or whatever, but gotta give or take and see what's more important to you in life.
What are some of the pros of living in a community like this versus buying a house?
Obviously the amenities are nice. You know, I'm here at a pool on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think the community we have here is really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually one of the only apartments that I've had where we have a chat with all the residents, and everyone's super cool with each other, help each other out with tools and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really cool to live here.
Who would you say is the right person to rent a place like this?
Definitely young business professional, especially with the location that we're at. I know there are families here, but I think it's mostly people.
Let me drop the link in the chat for y'all to be able to come on the platform.
What advice would you give people who want
only
to be
if y'all disagree with me
living in a nice spot like this?
Just gotta be patient. I mean, I used to have a roommate too.
Hey, shoot your shot, Charlie.
But just know that one day you'll work your way up to where you want to be, I guess, and yeah, save a little bit of money and it can happen.
How much money does someone need to make to be able to comfortably afford living here?
I would say if you're doing this alone, definitely over 6 figures. Yeah. If they do check credit scores.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
it's a good credit.
Strictly, yeah.
What's the best advice you've ever been told in your life?
The worst thing you can get is a no. Just keep trying. Good things will come.
And what's something that you wish you started doing earlier in your life?
Probably that whole YouTube, whatever this is going on right now. You know, I see obviously the Gen Z or whatever generation's doing now, and they do what they're passionate about or what they're happy about, and they make a lot. And I just think I personally, I am too old to be starting something like that now. And
Girl, you're
I
33.
wish I tapped into that earlier.
Do you have any final advice for the audience?
Just hustle hard, and yeah, good things will come.
Love that. Thank you so much. So what's your name, age, and what do you do for a living?
Christine Jacks, 34. I'm a product manager at a tech startup.
Why do you rent and why don't you buy a spot? Yeah, so we actually did own, and now we rent here. So this 12-year lease is kind of our in-between. How has it been so far? Like, how would you compare an apartment like this versus where you had before? For my wife and I that don't have any kids, there's not considerations for like school districts. But yeah, I mean, having the amenities, having the like location that we have here, like makes renting worth it. And can I ask, how much do you pay for rent? $4,300 a month. How much need?
So it looked like the majority of these people paying somewhere between $3,500 and $4,500 a month for rent.
Be able to make.
I dropped the link in the chat. It's pinned to the top of the chat.
For like a unit like ours.
For anybody that disagree with me, you're more than welcome to be able to cam up.
Probably.
And you don't have to be on camera either.
A couple $100,000 a year. How do you invest your money? We do some small investments too, but like stock market right now is kind of brutal. So we actually do more with like high yield savings accounts, things like that. They're a little more stable. What's your 5-year plan? Do you plan to buy again here or? Yeah, I think we're going to end up trying to buy a house as soon as this lease is up. Okay. Yeah, I think like we don't want the housing market to get too far away from us either. Like staying out of the game, I think is tough.
I don't think that this man truly understands money. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't. I understand what he's saying as far as like a go-between because him and his chick don't even have kids or anything like that. But I don't think that this guy truly understands how money works. He even said a high-yield savings account. That's not necessarily going to help you. A high-yield savings account? Come on, man. Stop it. Let me get y'all up on here. I want to get what y'all thoughts are. Let's see what we doing here. I'm going to ask y'all whether or not y'all want to cam up or whether y'all want to be on a live stream or not. And then we're going to go from there. Let me see if I can do this. This is very difficult. I'm going to try to get y'all in one by one. All right. Mark. What up, Mark?
What's going on? Cam's cool.
Chilling, my friend. How you feel?
Hey, man, I'm at work trying to grind it out.
You want to be on camera or you want to be off camera?
Camera's cool. I mean, I'm a little dusty, got the grays and I ain't brushed my beard today, but it's all
right,
good.
we're going to leave you off camera then. I don't want you to be dusty on camera.
Yeah.
What do you disagree with, fam?
I honestly just want to hop on here and just say I watch the show a lot, mostly in the daytime. When I'm driving, I drive trucks, and so I'm watching the show for games.
Shout out to my truck drivers out here in these streets.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess people can't see me, but and then the other aspect is the financial advice and knowledge that you give out. I will say that my father disagreed with some of the points of views that you've spoken about.
What did he disagree with?
As far as buying a house, he was saying like buying a house is going to be a investment for me personally, versus renting, or more specifically for my lifestyle in the past. I was doing the van life thing for 4 years on and off, fresh out the military, you know what I mean? So the van life thing for me was kind of like, it was easy for me, And so I was looking at it kind of financially like a come up, as well as working at the same time, just to kind of save on living expenses. And he was like, no, you need to go buy a house, do it now, don't wait, because the price is going to keep going up. And so yeah, I mean, he definitely disagreed with your points of view, but I kind of was, I feel what you were saying and what you speak about. As far
what market are you in?
I am in the Atlanta area.
And so how much is he telling you to go and purchase a house for?
Oh, I just closed last month on the 28th, actually.
Congratulations. And how much did you spend on the house?
I spent $230 basically.
That's how much the house was, $230?
Before interest and all that, but I was watching your show and you was like, no, you was breaking down to 28, 36 or whatever the percentage rule of your income.
Okay, so hold on. Let me ask you a question. So the house was $230?
Yes, sir.
How much did you put down?
So I used my veterans loan. My VA loan, I mean, and so
you didn't put anything down?
No, and I'm kicking myself. I just found your channel maybe 3-4 months ago but I'm kicking myself because I'm started, seeking the knowledge. Kind of stupid, but I started
How
seeking
long
the
is your
knowledge
mortgage?
as I was trying to go through the
You
process.
got a 30-year mortgage?
Yes, sir. And so.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you got a 30-year mortgage. You don't pay PMI, do you?
No, sir.
And that's because you're a veteran?
Yes. So just because it's a backed loan by the government, then they ain't requiring a private mortgage insurance.
So you don't have to pay private mortgage insurance?
No.
Okay. What's your interest rate?
It is at 6.75.
So you paying almost 6.75% interest. You got a 30-year mortgage. Have you made any payments on your mortgage yet?
I made a half payment last week just to kind of get ahead of the power curve. I will ask, you've spoken on it a couple times, but I will ask, like, what's some great ways to kick that 30-year down to 15 or even faster if possible?
Well, hold on. Let me ask a couple more questions because I don't want to keep you real long. Because I need some more information. So you got a 30-year mortgage. What's your mortgage payment?
And that's the part. So 2023 with the HOA. It's $350 HOA.
How much is your HOA?
$350
a month.
Which, yes, sir. Yeah. That's the only thing. But then, so I'm a single person. I already spoke on. I drive trucks. So
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. You paying how much a month in HOA fees?
$350.
So you're paying $350 in HOA fee, and they have the option to be able to raise it depending on whatever it is that they need, right?
Unfortunately, but builder's been there since 2002, so I don't.
Stop listening to y'all parents, bro.
And that's the mindset I got because I'm like, I see other people who do different things, make different moves, and get different results. I mean, my father but he retired out of the Army and then retired out of the post office. So he played the game, but it's a different way than how you played it. Or
is he rich?
How you skinned the cat. He ain't rich, but he ain't hurting. He making over $100,000 a year retired, and so.
Is he rich
he ain't
though?
Hurting for it. Exactly.
I'm just asking.
So no, I'm no, and that's why I'm looking to other inspirations as far.
So wait a minute, your mortgage payment and what's your mortgage? No HOA. Are you paying property taxes? Because I know in some states they got it a little bit differently depending on if you're a veteran or not.
My property taxes are $3,000 a year. I forget the other question.
Is it baked into the mortgage payment? Did they add that to the mortgage payment?
It's baked in.
Okay. So you paying property taxes, HOA fees that don't actually feed into. So remember this, your property taxes and your HOA fees, when you make those payments, so let's just say, for example, you making $650, $600, somewhere between $600 and $700 in payments for property taxes and HOA fees, right? Right?
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, I ain't on camera yet. My bad.
So let's say you're making $700 in payments for property taxes and HOA fees. That does not go, and that ain't even including the interest that you're paying for the home. That does not go into your principal. That's money that you're just giving away in general. Every single month, and it's going to go up every single year. As your property goes up, the value of your property go up, the property tax is going to go up. In addition to that, your HOA fees is always going to go up. They never go down.
Roger.
That's $700 right out the door.
Which is a lot of my. And over the life of the mortgage, when I saw that.
Well, over the life of the mortgage, you probably gonna pay for the home 2 to 3 times over, and that's not even including the utilities or anything like that, the maintenance, the updates, the upkeep. When was the house built?
Right. 2002.
So the house is 21 years old. When was the roof replaced?
Don't think they replaced the roof yet.
You're gonna have to spend money on it.
Got like a rubber ass.
And see, listen, I'm not telling you that it's wrong to purchase a house. What I am telling you is that every individual situation is unique, and you don't want to take a one size fits all approach to it in order to be a part of it.
Got you though.
You know what I'm saying? So hit me up, man. Listen, I don't know if you're a bag chaser, but hit me up. Either send me a message on Patreon or send me an email, and we can go from there.
Roger that. Hey, I appreciate it. And again, I really appreciate the show. You know, the Hey Q show and the Millionaire Morning show. I rock with y'all. So
Yeah,
just much love. I'm gonna stay tuned in. I'm gonna email you as well.
for sure. All right, my friend. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Listen, y'all. One of the things that's very, very important. Only one property that I own, I pay HOA fees on, and the HOA fees for that property is like, if I had to guess, $45 a month, and it has not raised up in over a decade of me owning that particular property. Be very, very careful when y'all buying these properties a lot of times, because you will buy it in a nice place or you will buy it in a specific city and you'll just jump into it unknowingly. It's a lot of fees that's associated with a property. Also, on top of that, unless you're living in a property for at least 10 to 15 years, you'll never truly get a return on investment, especially when you're selling a property and you got to pay 3% for selling it and 3% to their other real estate, to their other realtor in order to offload the property, in addition to the sales tax that come along with it, right? So it's a lot of different things. I never ever purchase a property going forward, and this is one of the reasons why I like buying land. I never buy a property, or I never purchase a property or get into a property that comes along with HOA fees. I just don't. I don't believe in it. Don't let y'all parents and y'all uncle and y'all daddies and all of that talk y'all into doing this junk, man. It's not necessarily going to work out for you. Yo, Tony, you want to be on camera? Thumbs up, or off camera? Thumbs down. I bet I got you. What up, T?
What's up?
My guy, my Chicago brethren. What's up, big dog?
Man, nothing much. I'm trying to get this dang on camera. There we go. Two things, brother.
All right, I'm listening.
First disagreement is, man, Chicago is a phenomenal city. that's first and foremost.
Listen, I
That's
feel
first
you.
and foremost.
Okay, that's the first thing.
Okay? It's peaceful. I'm out here shooting content, been shooting content all morning.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no problems. Ain't no migrants.
One of the worst property taxes in the entire country, but I got you.
I don't live here. I don't live here. It's a nice place to visit, coming to see my mom shoot some content. Now, the second thing is this. The renting versus buying, right?
Mm-hmm.
This a double entendre. This is to you and to the dude that just got off, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he had a father like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have told him, because he sound like a single dude, I would have told him to buy a two-bedroom duplex, right?
Mm-hmm. House hacking.
Live in one, rent the other one out. The HOA fees is just lawn care. Hire somebody to cut the fucking grass, excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a house hack, as they call it, right? And to you, that building you have your studio in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
talking about this studio right here that I'm in right now?
Yeah, that one. I think you got enough money to buy one of those and carve out a little space for yourself and let it, pay for itself.
I'm not willing to do
you
it.
Own it at that point, right?
I don't want to do it.
I know you don't, because you haven't done it.
I don't want to do it. Mm-mm.
But you know it's possible.
I don't want to bring in nobody else in my building.
I got you. But you picked the best tenants.
I don't want to. I'm not as well. I wouldn't jump into it unless I truly understood commercial real estate. I can understand. I don't understand it yet to the point to where I feel comfortable enough jumping into it. What I do know, I know residential, I know house hacking, I know single family residences. So until I get to the point to where I'm comfortable enough to get into commercial real estate, because it's a different animal. It's a completely different animal. It's location based. How big the actual building is, I don't understand. It's a lot that I don't understand yet as far as commercial real estate. So I'm not ready to jump into that yet. But it may be on the list within the next 6 years.
It could, because if you rented it all out with a triple net leases, triple net leases pretty much they got to pay for everything.
Yeah, but you also got to find a tenant, and you competing. You got to compete against other commercial properties, especially depending on whether or not it's a lot of vacancies in that particular area.
This is true.
It's a
It's the
lot.
pros
It's
and
a
the
lot.
cons.
It's a lot to go into it. More than just getting a tenant in. It's much more difficult to get a tenant inside of a commercial property than it is to get a tenant inside of a single family home.
This is true. But we gonna mine this thing out because I'm gonna buy mine in Chicago.
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it!
Hey man, Chicago has to come back. Detroit's back.
Yeah, Detroit is getting there. We love it. I love this city, bro. So
We gotta get our turn, man. We gotta get our turn. Detroit ain't
yeah,
special.
and we so special. Actually, we play all this. We play all tomorrow. I'm gonna be at the game.
Tomorrow, yeah, I know you going to the game. I was trying to convince my cousin to get some tickets and come up there. But
Y'all got beat up. Y'all got blew out the other day by
yeah,
I think it was OKC. Jesus.
Michael Jordan's retired now.
Hey, shout your channel out, fam.
Man, the life of Sconey, and that's actually I'm out here shooting content for my second channel. I'm about to get my second channel started. I'm following in the footsteps of Mr. Anton Daniels. You inspire me, brother.
Yeah.
And I'm
shout
doing
out
the work.
to Life of Sconey. Make sure y'all subscribe to that channel, man.
Absolutely. I'm doing the work, brother.
All right, my friend.
All right. Till next time, bro.
JPT, I'm gonna bring you up next. On camera or off camera? Off camera? Got you. Give me a second. Let me work this through. Give me a second. I got you. All right, it said you muted yourself.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, so I overall agree with you on the age thing. I definitely don't think we should lower it. But do you think raising it would have some issues also? Like, would you, I guess, like if someone commits a crime at 21, would you try them as a kid or an adult?
Well, I think that the age limit should be 22. And I don't believe largely that you should. Let me put it like this. I don't look at the justice system and say, well, you should try him as a kid or you try him as an adult. I think that depending on the crime, that determines whether or not somebody should get a certain amount of time in general.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
If somebody goes out there and kills somebody and they put a pistol in their mouth and they blow their brains out, I don't even see what the debate is about charging you as a child or anything. Like, you did a grown man crime. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that. No, I thought initially when you had said that statement, you thought like nothing else would change, I guess, kind of. But
no, I think that there's always going to be pros and cons with everything, right? There's always going to be some small little tidbits, I think, that you'd have to address that obviously a lot of things that you probably don't think of right away when you vet this entire idea out. But in a general sense, I believe that the only reason that they say 18 is an adult is because that's the age that they would recruit you in order to go and fight for the country and then go over to the military. You know what I'm saying? So that was incentivized by the federal government in order to get more people in order to trade in their lives for their country. So when we say 18, I still don't think that you're an adult. I just think that they look at you as old enough to be able to pick up a gun and blow somebody's brains out. But I think that a true adult, in the way that they're mature enough to make the smartest decisions for themselves, I think that is no less than the age of 22.
Okay, that makes sense. Oh, how about like foster care systems? So do you think like that would need to still be like within the system going up to like 22, or like at 18 they could leave?
I think 22 across the board is just a smart age. It's a good age. I think that when you put somebody on the street, at 18, in most instances, not all, especially for a little girl, you setting her up for failure.
No, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think I think overall I agree with you, but yeah, just definitely have to change other things, I think, to kind of fit the I guess overall change in the adulthood age, I guess. But no, I agree with you.
All right, my friend. Well, I appreciate you for coming through.
Yeah, thank you. I love your show.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Counselor Mr. G. Let me see if I can play that out real quick. Mr. G, what up though?
Salute, bro. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's happening?
Yeah, how you doing, bro? Yeah, thanks for having me back.
I appreciate you. What's the word? What do you
And
disagree with?
yeah, I wanted to talk about this last week. I have about 3 points I want to make. I know on the first point we disagreed, but I'm not too sure about the other 2 points, so that's the reason why I wanted to kind of pick your
Okay.
brain. But the last week's show, you and a caller were talking about inflation,
Uh-huh.
and essentially, if I'm hearing you correctly, you could clarify. You were saying that because the caller was going from the standpoint of the Federal Reserve, and you were saying that inflation was typically, had to do with the local economy and shrinkage and things like that.
I was saying that
So is
I
that
said
your
that
official
he
stance?
he he basically said that it was basically tied to the Federal Reserve. I agreed with him, but I said in addition to different markets and personal inflation is also basically, it's according to your lifestyle. It's according to what it is that you into. It's according to the different space that you live in. Over in California, it's going to be much different than it is in Ohio. The housing market over there and your ability to be able to survive is different. If you go over to New York, it's much different than Miami because you may not necessarily need a car in order to get to and from because they have a public transportation system. So inflation is tied to more than just the Federal Reserve, especially on a personal level. So I think that both can be true at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess this is where we disagree because to me, and based on my study, experience with the topic, inflation is strictly a monetary issue with regard to the money supply. Now, when you start talking about regional or localized pricing, such as shrinkage, for example, obviously you have variances because if you have a store, for example, that's suffering from theft, so they can raise their prices on a particular product or they can distribute it through different products, so it won't necessarily affect their customers. Whereas when you start talking about inflation, if you're talking about M1, M2 money supply, you're talking about a nationwide thing, and it's not as localized. And just to show you the difference, and the reason why I don't like to commingle local prices, such as through shrinkage and things like that, as you're describing with inflation, is because just from a, if you're talking dollars, the total amount of shrinkage or retail theft comes to about $112 billion nationwide. Whereas when you start talking about M2 money supply, which has to do with inflation, we're talking $20 trillion. So that's only a drop in the bucket. You're not going to get an impact on inflation, when you're dealing with, just local shrinkage. So that's the reason why I am kind of a stickler for
Inflation
making
as
sure
a
that we understand the
definition.
difference. Because I know some
Inflation
people,
as a
they look at,
definition is the rate of
yeah.
increase in prices over a given period of time. Typically, a broad measure such as an overall increase in prices and an increase in the cost of living across the country. That is literally the definition of inflation.
Exactly. And that's essentially what I just said in terms of from a nationwide standpoint, as opposed to a localized, if you're talking about your local bodega or corner store, then you're talking about, prices locally. But like the definition just said, it's a nationwide thing. So when you're dealing with
It's
inflation, you're talking
both.
about the money supply. You're talking about
It's both. When you vote for
not
president,
inflation.
when you vote for
Well, that's
president, it doesn't absolve you from being subjected to whatever it is that you live in or where you live in as far as your state and even your city specifically. The problems that they're experiencing over in California from a pricing perspective is much different than the problems that they're experiencing over here in Michigan, right? We can look at it from a nationwide perspective and see how that affects what it is that I'm doing locally, but it's going to affect each location differently depending on what it is that they do. And that's why you have constituents and legislation and legislators that go over and lobby for and advocate for their constituents over where they live because they want the federal government to make a decision that will then cause them to be successful in their specific part of the country. That's the whole idea of why you have Congress, legislators, state representatives, so on and so forth, is because they are the ones that have the ear and can contribute to the conversation on a local level because they represent a specific demographic of people. Inflation is not just to be looked at from a wide lens, only from a country. It has to be looked at individually, locally, because you are affected much different than the person that's over there across the country from you. To narrow it down, or to only say that we have to look at it only from a nationwide perspective is short-sighted.
No, what I'm talking about is what the definition of inflation is compared to what you're describing is just local price increases, which has more to do with cost of living increases. Inflation is a
that's literally the definition of it.
You're dealing with the CPI.
It's overall
right.
increase in prices and an increase in cost of living. That's literally what the definition of it is.
Right. Well,
so how do you remove that from your conversation? How do you remove that from the conversation just because you only want to talk about it on a nationwide, from a nationwide perspective?
Well, the distinction that I'm making is that when you're talking about inflation as a specific thing, you're talking about it as a nationwide thing as opposed to local or regional price increases. Those are two totally different things because those things can.
It doesn't make it any less true just because it's two different
going
things.
Higher.
It doesn't make it any less true just because you only want to
talk
about it.
No, I'm not
from
saying
one
you're
perspective.
wrong in terms of. Well, again, inflation itself is a whole other thing besides your local price increases is all I'm saying. I'm not telling you that that doesn't have an impact on your quality of life and standard of living where you live. But when you start talking about inflation, just like the caller was explaining to you last week, it has more to do with the Federal Reserve's policy in terms of money supply. It's not localized just to your, where not your local stores raising prices. That's a whole different thing. That's cost of living and all of that.
All interconnected. It all affects it, right? If the Fed raises rates, right, then it affects the entire country. How each individual local location is dealing with that. Say what?
Mm-hmm. Well, what I was going to say was that when you're dealing with inflation, that's a whole nother animal besides local price increases. That's the only part I'm making. You are correct that if you're living in a specific city, for example, and then the prices that are going up at your store because they have shrinkage, they have people breaking in, and they decide to raise prices, that's going to affect you. But that has nothing to do with someone who's living across town or maybe in another city. Whereas inflation is going to affect everybody across the board. That's what that definition was telling you. Inflation is by definition.
You're absolutely positively wrong. Okay, so let me ask you a question because inflation. You only want to talk about it from one lens, right? What city do you live in, or what part of the country? No.
Well, I don't live in the country.
So you don't live in the United States at all.
But what the point I'm making here, that has nothing to do with the point. But no, as it stands now, I don't. But where I do live, there's inflation and there's local prices. So the point I'm making to you is that you have
there are inflation and local prices, but you saying that the only thing that matters as it relates to the definition of inflation is its nationwide effect.
Exactly. By definition, it's a monetary. It has to do with the nation's money supply.
It does not. I just read the definition, and it had nothing to do with. It's not okay. We can just agree to disagree. We go in circles. There's no point in going back. I disagree with you. You disagree with me.
No,
I think that how you're affected on a local level is much more important. Is much more important than how how people are affected across the nation. But it doesn't mean that what happens on a nationwide scale, such as, for example, the Fed raising rates, does not affect you. Does not affect the whole country. But I think that how you're affected locally is much more important, and that's the conversation that's much more important to individuals, which is why people vote the way that they do and why the nation be so divided than it is on a national level. But I don't think that either one is wrong. I think that inflation on a nationwide scale and on a local level, you can apply it to both. I'm just not understanding why you only want to apply it to the nationwide, but we can agree to disagree.
Well, let me just explain this real quick. I'm not saying that local prices don't matter. I'm just saying when it comes to what inflation itself is, It only has to do with the way prices are affected across the board due to the money supply. When you start talking about localized prices, no matter where you live,
inflation
in
is
any
not
city,
only tied
those
to the
prices.
money supply. It's not. It's not
No,
only
I'm not
tied to
telling
the
you.
money
I'm not saying
supply.
it. No, when it comes to what actual, just like with the definition you just read, didn't it tell you it was about the nation? It mentioned that, right? I'm just basing it on the definition you read. If you read the whole definition, it's talking about dealing with the entire country. When you start talking about local prices, that's not really inflation. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong.
And I believe that
you're
you're
talking
wrong.
more about quality of life.
You're wrong.
About
You're
inflation?
100% wrong.
Can you read the definition again that you read before?
Inflation is the rate of increase in prices over a given period of time. Then it goes on to say inflation is typically, give me a second. Inflation is typically a broad measure such as the overall increases in prices and an increase in cost of living.
Go on.
That's what it says. And that's according to the International Money Fund.
It also said it, but it also said across the country, right? Didn't you read that part earlier?
I don't remember reading that. I don't see that. I can go to the International Monetary Fund, but let me pull up a different definition. Let's see if I can find it somewhere else. According to Investopedia, what is inflation? Inflation is a rise in prices which can be translated as the decline of purchasing power over time. The rate at which purchasing power drops can be reflected in the average price increase of a basket of selected goods and services over a period of time. The rise in prices, which is often expressed as a percentage, means that the unit of currency effectively buys less than it did in prior periods. Inflation can be contrasted with deflation, which occurs when prices decline and purchasing power increases. That's specifically what it says on Investopedia. I will share my screen just so you can see it. It says nothing about the country whatsoever. Has everything to do with your purchasing power. Now, whether you want to equate that, whether you want to equate that on a national scale or you want to equate it on a local scale, we can equate it on a international scale. We can say across the globe in general. How do you limit where it is that you want to apply how inflation is affecting you? Because the American dollar can literally, depending on the prices and the reason why it's going up and going down, can affect how you're living in an entirely different country. How do you limit it to one specific thing, but then don't want to expand it over into something else?
No, now you're talking about currency exchanges. You're talking about the difference between the value of one currency
because
versus
anything
another.
Anything can manipulate your ability to be able to purchase goods and services at a particular price. It doesn't matter whether it's currency exchange. It doesn't matter whether or not we're talking about an oil embargo or whether or not you want to talk about the pandemic or whatever, so on and so forth, driving up the cost of goods and services, or your ability to be able to live in a house for a specific price or whatever, so on and so forth. Everything affects everything when it comes to the purchasing power and your ability to be able to live a comfortable life, which is basically inflation.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. So just say, for example, the nationwide inflation rate is 7%, and you live in a city where the prices have gone up 2%. Well, what's the inflation rate?
Well, it depends. If I live in a city, for me, it's 2%.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but when the CPI or when these numbers come out and they give the inflation rate, the rate that is used across the board, that's the metric that's used to determine what the inflation is, what number are they going to use?
So let me ask you a question. Can
you answer mine first?
No, if you want to apply it on a national scale, then you can say that the rate of inflation, according to whatever the Fed is dropping, is whatever it is that they present to you. So let me ask you a question. Now that I answered your question, I'm gonna ask you a question, all right?
I don't think you did, but it's okay, bro. It's
You
okay.
want me to ask my question or no?
Yeah, please. You can ask your question.
In a general sense, the cost of housing, right? Across the nation, the average cost of buying a home, let's just say it's $500,000. Okay? But then over in my city specifically, let's say it's $300,000. What is the average cost of purchasing a home?
For you, it's $300,000, or whatever the case is.
So should I go by what the national average is? Because somewhere else, in order for it to be 300,000 here, is probably 800,000 somewhere else. Should I go by the national average, or should I go by how I'm being affected within my particular community?
If you're talking strictly based on your own individual experience, then that's a whole other thing from what I'm referring to in terms of how something like inflation is measured. But yeah,
is it disqualified? Does it disqualify either or? So just because the national average is what it is, does that not mean that? Does it disqualify what it is that I'm paying over here?
No, just as a metric, that the national average is what's going to be used, but your particular regional or local determination is going to be different. But again, that's a different measure. All I'm saying is whatever your particular cost is versus the national average, then those are two different things. That's the only point I'm making.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we could agree to disagree on that. But again, I just wanted to make it clear that the way I see inflation is as a monetary issue, and local currency local prices is a whole other thing.
Got you.
But
all right. Any other
the other question I just want to ask you, what's your take on precious metals?
I don't necessarily have a take on it because I'm not invested in precious metals. Do you have a take on it?
Oh, I see. Well, I was just gonna say that this is a hedge against.
Use it as a hedge against inflation.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I was asking you about that, because I do feel that.
You asked me?
No, well, no. I mean, I did kind of just because you seem like a savvy investor, and I haven't saw you mention it before, and I know you were talking about other monetary investments. I just want to know what you thought about. The only things that I usually speak on
is things that I'm invested in, because I would never recommend somebody do something that I'm not doing myself.
Okay. Yeah, but
like I know what Bitcoin is. I know what cryptocurrency is. I know what blockchain technology is. I know what Ethereum is, but I'm not necessarily recommending it to people. Yeah. And I don't want to have a conversation about it at this point because it's not something that I feel like I'm as well versed in it to speak to it, based off of my own experience with it. And so I would never recommend that somebody do something that I'm not doing myself.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to ask you, and that kind of leads to my third question was, how do you feel about kind of prepping or just preparing for or hedging against things that are going on in the world? And what do you think people should do? Because I know obviously as bag chasers, we talk about a lot about earning money, but what other kind of protective measures do you advocate?
I don't operate under duress, so I don't use protective measures, and I don't do anything to hedge against it. My goal is to continue to beat the rate of it by investing in things that you truly understand. So one of the things that I tell people on a large scale is I think that people need to become super educated in whatever it is that they're great at. So let's just take the stock market, for example. I don't look at the stock market as, oh man, I can, invest in the stock market. I look at the stock market as an opportunity to invest in things that I otherwise would have not had access to, such as a publicly traded company, right? I don't look at it as, oh man, I want to use the stock market in order to hedge against inflation because the S&P 500 is doing this number or so on and so forth, right? I look at it as, you know what? I intimately understand automakers. I understand the market as it relates to the UAW strikes, the margin of profit that comes along with whatever it is that each automaker is making, depending on whatever it is that they invested in, right? The cost to produce goods and services, internal combustion engines versus EVs, the innovation behind it, them becoming a technology company. How are they leveraging cloud and infrastructure and then hiring software engineers in order to advance their technology? What is the long-term strategy? What is their competition doing as far as China? What type of advancement are they making over in other countries? Where's the battery technology coming from? How do you bet against it? What are the numbers as far as trucks versus cars, gas prices, so on and so forth. So because I understand that market intimately, I feel more comfortable investing in it. So I don't think that there's one way for you to be able to skin a cat. I wouldn't say, hey, you need to invest in this in order to hedge against inflation. I think that people need to continue to leverage their money to make more money, beyond how much the money is being devalued based off of whatever metric that you want to use. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. I'm just looking at some of the comments they talking about inviting him to the Patreon. I'm already on this Patreon.
Yeah, I got a lot of bad chasers.
I love this guy. Yeah, see, I don't know why they think I hate you or something, man. I got love for Anton. What you guys doing? Just like last time I was here, they was calling me. One woman said I was angry or something. I'm like, maybe it's the way I talk. But
no. Listen, we like to have conversations where people have a difference of opinion, because there may be some gems in there that we learn from each other, because we're not necessarily in an echo chamber. So just because we may disagree on something does not mean that it's not value in a conversation.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like I said, this is basically just me, picking your brain. I'll rock with you. No problem here. I think one woman last week said I sound like I was fat. I'm like, listen, I'm in shape.
Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about that.
220.
Don't worry about that, man. So
it's just funny. These people.
Don't worry about that. So you got any other things that you want to discuss real quick?
No, I was just telling you, man. Keep rocking out, doing what you're doing. It's just, we have some difference of opinion, but I think overall, in terms of getting the bag, a lot of things that you're presenting, I rock with, I agree with. I did want to, just raise those particular issues.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate
hopefully, at some point in the future, I know your crowd just be hating, man. I don't know why. But
they're not hating, man. They holding you accountable, just like they hold me accountable. They don't always agree with me. There's plenty of people in the chat right now that's saying, Anton, you're wrong. Anton, I don't agree with that. I don't time them out. I don't say you can't come back or nothing like that. I let them rock out. As long as they're not disrespectful, I'm cool with it.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was just to sum it up real quick. Just the only reason why I was mentioning about as far as prepping, because I think that we as a people just kind of need to pay more attention to the geopolitical situation and everything that's going on and the impact it could have. And that's the reason why I am an advocate for, doing things that are going to, whether, like you were saying, living below your means, stacking, doing a lot of things. So that's one of the things that I like to advocate. And I did want to speak to you on that to see where you fell in that particular train of thought. So.
Okay, I feel you. Well, we can continue the conversation on next Friday. I understand. I want to get some other people in here so I can get
Friday,
them.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off. But yeah, in the future, I'd still like to talk to you though. Let you know it is still ain't no love lost or nothing.
Yep, I'm with you. All right, my friend. Thank you, bro.
All right, bro.
I bet.
I see you, man.
Carmen, I'm coming to you. I know you probably want to be off camera, obviously. Carmen, what's up?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me on. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
So in terms of my question, I'm a new grad nurse. I'm 28, still live with my parents. Just started a new job at the hospital and
Congratulations.
Thank you. I should be happy about it. So the new conversation about 401ks, while I do have student loans, debt, and in the future I still, if things work out, would want to move up in the ladder nursing wise. But in terms of 401ks, I don't have plans, or I don't anticipate having a family of my own. It's just I'm just one out of two children, the oldest. younger brother has disabilities. So would it be okay to just instead of contributing for I feel like I know the answer, but if I don't anticipate having a future of my own anytime soon, would it be okay just to contribute money to life insurance to help,
No.
I guess, pass down
No.
to my parents and brother
What do you mean? Your parents is
instead?
older than you. Life insurance is for when you die. You can't spend it.
Right, that's the point. So, yeah, that's really what I
So
was
let's say you
thinking.
live to be
Doing
80.
things the right way.
Let's say you live to be 80. You plan on working till you
Well, I
80?
don't know. If I do live on to 80, I would not want to eventually retire
Okay, so
before that.
a 401k is a wealth building tool. Remember that, right? 401k is a wealth building tool. I'm sure that your employer has some type of match, right?
It's 8%,
How much?
up to 8%.
Well, so you contribute 8% and then they contribute how much? 50% of that? How
Oh,
much
I'm
of a match
sorry.
do they have?
I think it's not 50%. I think it's about up to 20%.
Okay,
And
regardless of what it is, at the very
yeah,
least, you need to be contributing at least 8% because it's free money.
not for me, but for
No, it's free money. It's you. It's yours. It's in your name. If for no other reason, just to get the free money that your job is going to match you on, at the very least, you need to be getting that free money.
and what would that be more should I say faster than I guess putting it all into an account for, if I do pass on.
Hold on. Let's back up for a minute. Why do
Because
you keep talking about passing on? I don't understand this.
I
You keep talking about I'm not having a family. I don't plan on ever having nothing, and so on and so forth. What is going on?
so I didn't mean to like put a downer. I was just
No, I'm just trying to understand you. It's not a downer. I'm just trying to understand you. What's going on with you?
mhm. Well, I'm just I've listened to, it's not just from your influence, but it's how I've always thought through life experience, and I think logically. And I think in life there's winners and losers, so that's just like
So you just
how I think.
automatically came to the conclusion that you're gonna be a loser in that aspect of
Um,
your life.
no, I'm hesitant to say that, but I think there's plenty examples in my life where I was obviously in the position where I am now, which I'm grateful for. Especially having the support that I do have. But in the future, it maybe I just don't see,
Have
and
you
I
ever
think
had a
maybe it's
boyfriend
the
before?
fear. I don't know how that's relevant. I'm sorry. I don't want to be disrespectful, but
Listen, it's
it's
very
not.
relevant. You don't have to answer. You are not on the screen. We just
I
talking on
know.
a phone call, but it is very relevant. Have you ever had a boyfriend before?
No.
Why?
Um, I would say most of the time I said no. I would say no because I thought they would get tired of me. But I mean, that's like old news.
It's not old news. It's relevant.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would think so because as a woman, there's a different need that I would have compared to if I was a man. So I could see why you would ask that, but
Well, I'm asking that because you've
yeah,
never truly
so
experienced life because you don't really understand the nature of who you are. And so you're equating everything over into passing down and you're living your life to die and not living your life to live, which is one of the reasons why you asking me some of the questions that you asking me from a financial perspective. What people don't understand a lot of times is that it was easy to read, obviously, that you never had a boyfriend before for me because What people don't understand is that all parts of who you are interconnected, just like you interconnected with the people that you interact with on a regular basis, right? And it's almost as though your life experiences is creating this mindset to where you don't even care about nothing. You have no desire to do anything other than whatever it is that was expected of you. You living to die instead of living
I'm
to
not giving
live.
up.
I didn't say you was giving up, because if you was giving up, you never would have became a nurse in the first place. But
Yeah,
at the
I
same time,
saw a hint of hope. Yeah.
at the same time, you don't have any desires, any dreams. What do you want? What do you want out of life?
Um, I I just can't help but think logically. It's just it would be just out of this world to be like because I would always worry about my brother. That's one thing. And
What do
it would
you
just
want out
I
of
look at
life? You are not answering a question. What do you want out of life?
um um I would like to live a life where I don't have to worry financially, which I never
Nope.
had to,
Nope.
but
Nope. What do you want out of life? What do you want? Be very, very specific. Where do you want to live? What places do you want to visit? What kind of foods do you want to eat that you've never tasted before? Do you want love? Do you want to ever experience how it feels to not work? Do you want to go on a vacation for the next 6 months? What kind of cars do you want to drive? What kind of vacations do you want to take? Do you want to have an office? What type of house do you want to live in? Right? Do you want to have a maid? Do you want to have multiple different properties in multiple different places? Did you ever have a dream of racing a race car one day? What do you want? What do you want out of life?
I would like to have been married, have at least 2 or 3 kids,
Mm-hmm.
um, living in Florida, traveling,
Traveling where? Be specific.
probably go back to Spain,
So you visited Spain
and
before.
probably retire. I have, and yeah.
What did you think about it? What was it like?
I would say it was the best few months of my life, honestly.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, it was. Be married, and my dream self, I would envision myself just happy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What makes you happy? What do you like to eat? Where do you like to visit? What's your favorite food?
I like
Uh,
Caribbean food, Haitian food.
what else? What's wrong, Carmen? Talk to me, Carmen.
Anyway, I just want to be if I just want to do the best I can as a nurse. It's
No,
not
you
just a
don't.
career, it's
Carmen. Carmen. You are not defined by your job. You're not defined by your job. Your job is not you. You are
well,
a human being. You are a person with feelings. You have desires. You have dreams. You have experiences. You have things that has been affecting you your entire life, and you have some stuff that you need to overcome in order to get to that other side. And life is so much more beautiful and fruitful. But you letting your circumstances and the things that surround you, probably including your brother and things like that, affect where it is that you are in your life mentally right now.
right. And there was another question I had. Um,
Why you keep skipping past what I'm
people
talking about?
around. Sorry, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Why you keep skipping around? What's up, Carmen?
Um, no, I felt that it connected with what you were saying, in terms of limitations, because people see me and they think like this girl's not living her life. She's 28 and she still lives at home. And I know your sentiment. Well, I do somewhat agree about staying at home as long as possible to make the best financial decisions so you don't have to worry later. But sometimes I feel like I am a daddy's girl, and I'm coddled in that way. But at the same time, I'm not growing from where I am. I'm not struggling, and that's a big privilege that I have. But at
Now,
the same
struggle is good.
time,
Struggled in controlled environments is a good thing because you don't have to
well,
necessarily struggle financially to try different things that you may fail at that gives you more of a sense of life and what it's like to go through things and be an overcomer in certain areas. Or you may I've struggled starting certain businesses, which has ultimately led to me being incredibly successful in things that I didn't even know that I would be successful in, right? So it's not a bad thing to experience life, right? That all life is
well, I do
is
yearn to, but yeah.
so let's do it. If you want me to hold your hand through this, I will.
It's just with the debt, that's also another thing. And
We'll get to
obviously,
that. The
anyone
money
would
is
say like
easy.
stay home.
Money is easy for us, right? We can the money part. We gonna fix that. That's not a problem. That don't take but a hop, skipping, and jumping, and making sure that we stay on the right path for long enough to actually get to the successes. I want to know about you. When the last time somebody told you they appreciate you?
Appreciate me? I don't know, probably a few weeks ago.
Why did they
My mom.
appreciate you?
I helped her out with taking care of my brother, washing him, feeding him, things like that.
Listen. You are 28 years old. You are a baby. First of all, I understand your care for your brother, but that is not your responsibility entirely. Okay? It's
Well,
not.
it'll eventually be so, and that's the thing where,
It's not.
and
You can have a
I'm
full life.
hearing, well,
We'll get there.
you
We'll
know,
get there. I don't want you to share too many more details on the internet. Listen. Email me, Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com, and we'll have this conversation offline. But you have so much going for you. You have so much life. You have so much to give to this world. You have so much insight, understanding, so many different things that you need to experience. And let me just tell you something. You should not be limited, and you will not be limited by your current circumstances and how you feel right now. Who you are at 28 is going to be completely different than who you are when you're 29. When we have this conversation next year, you're going to be a completely different person. I'll tell you that.
maybe.
Nope. That's the way it's going to be. You with me?
I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
You with me?
Yes.
I need you to commit 100%, not just verbally, but emotionally. Are you with me or what?
Yes.
All right. Email me, okay?
Yes, I will. Thank you so much.
Hey, before you get off the phone and you email me, I want you to know that you are seen, you are loved. I got your back. I'm gonna hold you down, and as long as you want to go through this journey with me, I'm gonna do it with you. Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Well, let me read some of the super chats, and then we gonna go ahead because Anton has to prepare for a meeting that I have to be a part of in 37 minutes. So let me make sure that I acknowledge the people on Cash App first and foremost, and then we're gonna go from there. Let's see. Celeste. Let me give you a shout out, Celeste. I appreciate you for holding me down. Also, Canellis Jackson, thank you for the 10 ball, my friend. I appreciate you. And then Justin, thank you, Justin, for continuing to hold me down. I appreciate you for the extra 10 ball, my friend. You are much, much, much appreciated. Let me read some of the super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all going for y'all Friday. We got Fight Club tonight. AJ says, where you live, huh? Wish you would have told me this 3 years ago. I'm doing this backwards. No, not necessarily. You're not doing it backwards. Thank you for the super chat. I think it's according to where you're going and what your lifestyle is. You know what I'm saying? 67, Big Mel says, what up, though? Shout out to my Detroit brethren. Says, I'm from Detroit also. Keep doing what you're doing. Love watching all of the shows. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you for rolling with me. My girl, Natasha, says, already in Anton's Patreon. Proofing out any business concept for under $2,000. Please stop wasting time and become a bag chaser. No, hold on. Let me get it. Shout out to my girl, Natasha, the greatest person on earth. Natasha is actually, let me tell y'all something. Natasha was one of the people who I funded her businesses. I did. I funded one of Natasha's businesses. And she been rocking with me. She been loyal. She been rocking with me. She's one of the moderators inside of the Discord. Shout out to Natasha, my girl. Josh the Roofer says, yo, Anton, this is crazy because I literally watched that video on your Patreon last night for somebody to say the same thing this morning. Glad I'm getting this consistent bag chasing knowledge. We consistent over here. A lot of the insight that I give to the people, I give to the people. Shout out to my dog Brock for the Pass the Love offering. I appreciate you, my friend. Ken J says, if bruh didn't have to put anything down, then why didn't he buy down the interest rate? $350 in in HOAs on a $230,000 tiny home is crazy. I agree. But see, this is why y'all got to stop listening to y'all parents, because y'all parents is going to lead y'all wrong. Not saying that y'all parents don't add value in some ways, but in some ways they need to step back and let Anton do his job. Corey Collins says, what's up, Anton? I sent you a DM in the Patreon. I sent 2 emails trying to tap in with you and get some game. All right, I got you, Corey. I'm going to check my Patreon as soon as I get out of my meeting in 30 minutes. Enforcer 2K9 says, what do you do with 18 to 21-year-olds? Are they minors? Yes, they would still be a minor. I would have the 22 be the age of an adult, and I would have 18 to 21-year-olds still be minors. Shout out to Enforcer. JC Incorporated says, Anton, when you buy land, are the coordinates listed on the paperwork, for example, 40 degrees north, 39 degrees west? No, it's not. It's just a lot that's listed by whoever the seller is, and then you go and you talk to whoever the real estate person is, and then they call the title company. Most of the time you can get the closing within 30 days. I usually close within 7, and then you go from there. And then you can call the city to get the actual lot sizes and everything like that. But I'm sure you can find the coordinates just like it's on Google. Shout out to JC. I appreciate you. Jake Fever says, Tesla bought and holds Bitcoin, so you do too. Jay Ben is in the building, says, yo, shawty, wild, depressed. Had to cut the volume down while working. Ain't nobody messing up my energy. And the vibes this Friday. We love all of our people. We love all of our people through it, Jay Ben. Some people going through it. Some people is already there. We going to love them through it. That's my dog. Shout out to Easy Money. I appreciate you. Vic Williams Jr. says, God bless you, Anton. God bless you too, my friend. Right back at you. Jamon Coleman is in the building. Sent that 2-ball. Thank you, my friend. William Paris Jr. Let me give William Paris Jr. a round of applause. Salute to Anton for the conversation with the miss. I could tell you care, my G. I'm sure she appreciates it. Blessings, my queen. Shout out to William Paris Jr. I actually went to school with a William Paris Jr. Is that you, Will? Big Will? Shout out to Big Will. Shout out to William Paris Jr. I wonder if that's you. Iceberg Slim in the building says, keep your head up, Carmen. We got your back, Carmen. We got your back, Carmen. All right, listen, I love you. I appreciate you. Messy Mathematician, it's your birthday. You always love and support the platform. So I sent you a Cash App for lunch. Make sure you go and enjoy your tacos. It's not Taco Tuesday, but tacos. All right, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I have to get over and prepare for my meeting. I got a half hour to do so, actually 32 minutes for my presentation, and then we got Fight Club tonight. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to rock with me. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here this afternoon. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful and rich by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody that shows up and holds us down every single day, Monday through Friday. I love y'all. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.